Felicitations, adventurers! Welcome to Roll for Felicity, where we play serialized one-shots in a multitude of systems with assorted players. And today, the system we're going to be playing is called Basic Witches. And if any of these faces seem familiar to you, it's because this is one of the serialized one-shots. We've played a game with these three before. They're going to be playing the same characters that they did last time. And this is a self-contained story. So while we may reference things that happened in the previous one-shot, everything, if you've only watched this one shot, it's hopefully going to be a satisfying story with a beginning, middle, and end, although it is an actual play, so you never know what's gonna happen. If you're new here, my name is Taylor. I use she, her pronouns, and I am usually the person running games on the stream. I do sometimes have guest GMs. And then I also play video games on here. So I've been playing Minecraft lately. I've been playing Minecraft in hardcore mode because I got a subscriber goal, and that was what the incentive was. But that's enough about me. I'm going to let my guests introduce themselves, and I'll do it in the order that we are on the screen. So first up, Paige, do you want to introduce yourself to people? Although I see that someone here is already familiar with you.
Yeah, I saw her too. Thank you, Taylor. Hi, my name's Paige. Over here on Twitch, I normally go by Dungeon Mom because I'm also a RPG content creator here on the platform. I'm over on my channel there on Wednesday nights where I get to DM my D&D party on our long-term homebrew campaign, which is a lot of fun. But I think we're gonna have a couple off feeds coming up soon because of my work, my real life job, unfortunately. So we're gonna be doing a lot of outside of D&D systems. And we might have some guest spots from players who don't often take the DM seat. So I'm very excited about that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And next up, we've got Kitty. Do you want to introduce yourself to everyone?
Yeah, hi, I'm Kitty Stryker. I use she, her pronouns, and I mostly play my D&D privately, secretly, without anybody watching me. I do play very regularly, though. I have two campaigns that have gone on for about 2 years now. One's gone on for 3. I'm still nervous about DMing. I want to try it sometime, but it still seems very scary to me. And I'm really into non-D&D games. I really love Fiasco is one of my favorites. So it's really fun to be back.
Yeah. And then Lexi, do you want to introduce yourself to everybody?
Sure. Hi, I'm Lexi. I'll say she, her pronouns. I've been DMing in D&D it'll be 4 years in November. And then privately I also DM Monster of the Week. I'm in one of Taylor's home games. She runs Monster Hearts 2. And then Taylor and I are in a few other games. Love TTRPGs as a whole, and I love specifically playing with genre in various games.
And if you're interested in following any of these fine folks' other places on the internet where you can find them, their links for other things are in chat, whether that be Twitch or YouTube or Twitter or whatever else people have. I highly recommend that you follow everybody. Also, if you are not already following me on YouTube and you want, or subscribed, I guess on YouTube it's subscribed, and you want to see previous one-shots we've done, including the previous Basic Witches stream that we did, you can find that. It's Roll for Felicity on YouTube. The next thing we're going to do is, as usual, I do like a little icebreaker question, and the icebreaker question for this stream, because of what the content of this one shot is going to be, is what's a bad teacher experience that you had? This could either be, or I also pitched if people didn't have bad ones that they wanted to share, just an interesting or like funny story like with teachers. And I'll go first. Mine is, so I was homeschooled, so I didn't have teachers very much in high school, but in college I had a professor who sent a lot of email forwards to the students. And some of them were like, look at all these cute cats. And some of them were like chain ones where it would be like, if you forward this, like, God will bless you. And then some of them were like, Obama is not from the United States. So it was a real mixed bag. That's the only professor I've ever had, or like teacher that I've ever had who did that, and I don't know why they thought that was appropriate. Even the innocuous emails, I don't know why they thought that was appropriate. But that's my bad teacher experience. Paige, do you want to go next? Do you have a bad teacher experience or interesting teacher experience?
I do. It's not, I had a lot of great teachers. So like a bad experience isn't the first thing that comes to mind. More so it's the one instance where I probably got in trouble with a teacher because that wasn't very regular. So when I was really young, I was in elementary school, probably like not six. I was probably six, not sixth grade. And I had an art teacher who, in retrospect, now as an adult, probably didn't like teaching young children. She had very little patience. And I just remember vaguely like her kind of stomping and being a bit of a curmudgeon. And so everyone disliked her in the class. And everyone would kind of like up the ante on like, oh, well, when she's not looking at me, I like stick my tongue out at her. And I just learned what the middle finger was. And I had told somebody that when she turned around, I was going to give her the middle finger. And I did it, but then everyone told her and I got in trouble. And I'll never forget it.
So funny that
I got grounded for like, well, it's like, you know, like when she's not going to look at me, I'm going to give her the middle finger. You just like want to, yeah. So that's like one of the few times I got in trouble and I was very young. My dad yelled at me so hard that day.
Katie, what about you?
Well, like, I definitely had some bad teachers, but they're not really fun stories. But I will say I was sort of a bad student with one particular teacher in university. I really wanted to bang my ethics teacher, and it was a real struggle. He introduced me to like all of my favorite philosophers, and we would argue about like whether free will was really that important. I kept doing independent studies with him because I was just absolutely wanting to have sex with him. And we didn't. We kept things ethical.
Yeah, because I like Paige just said what an
like
ethical
I
dilemma.
love that story. I love that story. I think it's helpful because I was like in my mid-20s when I was in university. I wasn't like fresh out of high school or anything. So like our ages were a lot closer, but still there was that like, but really we shouldn't do that. Like, so we just had intellectual intercourse instead. And it was probably more satisfying.
Lexi, what about you? What's your interesting teacher story?
So I went to Catholic school, which meant that I had like mandatory religion class. And freshman year, I had a teacher who I'll call Mr. B, who was particularly interested in and invested in the like mysticism side of Catholicism. And that was like his entire reason for his belief system, basically. It's nothing about like forgiveness or anything, it was purely about the mysticism. And he would tell us about the time, quote, that his friend was possessed, which he described and honestly just sounded like pretty textbook mental illness. The time that he woke up to 4 demons standing over him, once again, he described it was very textbook sleep paralysis.
Oh no.
Really believed in it so wholeheartedly that nobody in the class had it was like, it's just kinder not to tell him. It would be mean of us to say anything. Like, and then I had a different teacher, same school, who was fired 2 months, I think, into my freshman year because he was watching porn during class and we could see it reflected in the like framed photos he had on the wall behind him. And there was one good seat in the class that gave the best view of it. And that seat was accidentally my seat. And so I was really thrown off when I came into class and saw a bunch of guys fighting to sit in my seat during our history class.
Oh my God. So our one shot today is going to have some stuff with, I would say, a pretty bad teacher. And I'll say this at the top of the stream. Normally for my streams, I don't include sexism. That's like one of the lines that I usually have. But similarly to with the last time we had a Basic Witches stream, I talked to the players beforehand for that stream and was like, hey, one of the big themes of this game is like young femmes who are, you know, impacted by the patriarchy. And so we all agreed that that was something that we were okay with including. So I will give that content note to anybody watching. There's nothing that's like super intense that I'm planning, but like, you know, the last stream, we had incel wizards or warlocks. So, you know, things along those lines. And then the other thing is for the stream, one of the things that is a major theme is there's a teacher at the school who is the new sex ed teacher who's teaching abstinence only education. So there is going to be some discussion of that, which is also something that I ran by the players before the stream to make sure that we were all okay with that being a major theme. But yeah, those are some topics that can be, you know, uncomfortable. So I wanted to let people know before we start playing. And I think with that we can get into the game. I feel like there's something else one other thing I normally say. During the game, there are some different ways you can support the stream. One of them you're already doing. You're watching it, which is great. I appreciate everyone who's here. And that's the number one way to support the stream. Another thing that you can do is if there's a moment during the stream that you're like, this would be great on TikTok or Twitter or like a shorter clip, you can put ! marker in stream and it'll make a stream marker for me that I can go back and clip that moment. Also making clips is great, but I know a lot of people, if you're like watching on mobile, it's really annoying to clip things. And then also you miss part of the stream. So you can just put ! marker. And that'll make a marker for me. And then the last thing you can do is I do have some rewards for tipping. So you can affect what happens during the game. For 100 bits, you can pick one player and give them +1 on a roll, which for this game, you're only rolling a d6, so a +1 is pretty significant. Or for 200 bits, you can give all 3 players +1 on a roll. You can also tip the cash equivalent at Ko-Fi or Coffee. I still don't know how you're supposed to say it, but that link is in the chat, and all of those tips do go to my guests tonight. So that's another way you can support the stream. With that being said, now I think we can get to the actual game itself. So it's a bright spring day at Buckland High, and the 3 of you are seated in your sex ed class. It's a little bit odd that your teacher, Ms. Garcia, isn't here yet, because she's usually already in the classroom when the students arrive. The other students in your class are chit-chatting and catching up. And I guess my first question for the 3 of you is, where are the 3 of you seated in the classroom? Like, are you seated together? Are you seated, like, apart from each other? And as you describe where you're seated, you can also describe your characters.
I am definitely sitting right in the front. Like, normally I sit more in like the middle, maybe like towards the side, close to the door. But for sex ed, I am absolutely like front, middle, ready to be confrontational. I'm one of those kids who was reading like the What's Happening to My Body book for boys and girls when I was growing up. So like,
you're in keeping of you.
Yeah, I'm very ready. And also kind of excited to like be provocative at the teacher. So Cassandra is, let's see, it's spring. So I think she's dressed, she's got a matcha latte instead of the pumpkin spice latte, and which matches her hair. And she's kind of going for like a pastel cottagecore look, I think, generally. So like florals and boots. Yeah, so she's dressed in a sort of spring, but still has like, you know, a little sweater on. And yeah, constantly sipping that latte.
Yeah, do you think the other 2 of you are seated close to Cassandra, or do you think you all kind of sit in your own space? Or also, it is not binary. One of you could be sitting close to Cassandra and one of you could not. That's also possible.
Yeah, I think I'd sit next to Cassandra, maybe a bit more reluctantly to sit up front next to Cassandra. But yes, I would definitely be sitting next to my coven sisters.
Yeah, what does Bridget look like?
Bridget's clothes don't have much variety. Life on a I think I put her on a boat. Life on a boathouse is tough. There's not a lot of storage, so her clothes don't change much season to season. So she's probably wearing one of the same variations of like a plaid shirt, and maybe these jeans have been ripped to the point where they're no longer full-length jeans. Maybe they're like a ill-fitted gaucho jean or something like that. So she probably looks pretty similar to anyone who saw us on the October stream.
Yeah. And what about Melissa? Where are you sitting? And what does Melissa look like?
Yeah, definitely seated with my sisters. I think normally Melissa tries for like the middle of the classroom where she can like see as much fun stuff going on. But yeah, definitely seated with the two of them. I'm wearing something just like completely impractical for school, not in the like euphoria, like too much skin way, but just in the like, that is a very fluffy skirt. How does it fit in a weird desk you have to like scooch in from the side into? Like I think my outfits are very like the type of thing that you see people wear on TikTok. And you're like, right, but nobody actually wears that. I wear that.
Yeah, things that are like uncomfortable but very pretty and like
because we have to like tug you out of the desk.
It's like a Winnie the Pooh in the rabbit's house situation.
Yeah, so you're all in class, kind of seated towards the front. And like I mentioned, normally your teacher, Ms. Garcia, would be here already, like when students come in. It's up to you what you all think of this class and what you think of Ms. Garcia. She is generally a pretty popular teacher. Like your school has like an actual sex ed class. It's not just like, a PE class. Like one of the class sessions is about sex ed and then that's it. Like this is actually like a class that students enjoy. And I mean, obviously not all students, and obviously it can sometimes be uncomfortable, but generally she's like a liked teacher, and it's a class that people are like, okay, like this isn't as, boring and unrealistic as like some other schools have. But she's not here. Is there anything that like the three of you are talking about though while you're waiting for class to start?
I think we're gossiping.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Paige, you smiled like you had something specific in mind that Bridget would be saying.
I definitely picture there's definitely gossip. Depending like the day of the week, we're probably picking up on things that one of us heard, the other one didn't. But the big thing for me is I want to know where Miss Garcia probably left off in the curriculum. Like essentially how far along in sex education, or like what was our most recent subject potentially?
Today, you were supposed to have been talking about contraception. So I think like the first few, I think it's still pretty early in like the semester. So like the first few classes were like what is sexuality and like that kind of stuff. And now you're kind of starting to get to like contraception, and then you're going to be talking about, like other more specific things. You're getting to like, the sex part of sex ed today. So yeah, does that affect what Bridget is thinking about or talking about?
She's probably more interested to talk about gossip then.
Yeah.
I imagine she's, of all things, despite everything we got into last session, I feel like Bridget is a little uncomfortable talking about sex education maybe. So I feel like she'd be like, yeah, let's talk about whatever gossip you guys care about. Like, let's keep that going for the next 45 minutes, and let's hope Miss Garcia never shows up. Kind of attitude.
Melissa totally plans on zoning out for this entire class, knowing what the topic is, because she's like, that doesn't apply to me.
Meanwhile, Cassandra is like pulling out of her bag like a version of all of the various contraceptions that she thinks they should be covering. just in case they aren't going to cover like use of gloves and like how to use gloves with long nails and things like that. So she's like lining it all, like she's talking about something else, but she's got it all lined up. Like, I am so prepared for this.
Yeah.
If Miss Garcia doesn't show up, I could do this class. It's totally fine.
So yeah, you're all talking and gossiping, and, you know, getting equipment out. And your conversation is interrupted as the door swings open and you see a man, presumably a teacher based on how he's dressed, that you haven't seen before. He's tall, kind of ruddy-faced, a little bit out of breath. And as he comes in, he says, "My apologies, today's been a bit hectic. Ms. Garcia won't be able to make it in, so I'll be taking over, as your sex ed teacher. I'm Mr. Harris." And he's kind of like, you know, setting things down, writing his name on the board, that kind of thing. And, for chat, you should now be able to see on the overlay what Mr. Harris looks like. And I am going to send a message to my players so that they can also see, maybe, if Discord will let me do it. But yeah, this other person comes in, while I'm...
Cassandra raised her hand immediately and says, what happened to Miss Garcia? When is she going to be back?
I'm afraid I can't really, get into that with you right now. But let's leave it at, I'm gonna be taking over as the sex ed teacher, for the foreseeable future.
Raise their hand again. Do you teach any other subjects? I don't think I've seen you in this school before.
No, I actually,
Sub. It's a sub. It's a sub. We've got a sub.
He says, "I'm not a substitute. I don't know what part of my prep for this was looking this up and I didn't find the answer. But you know how like some schools, like the art teacher doesn't like work for the school, but they like go to a bunch of different
like a contractor.
Yes. So he's like basically, yeah, like a contracted teacher, like a traveling teacher. So that's like, he's like, "I'm not a substitute. I am going to be teaching this class. I don't work for the school. I work for a private organization that trains teachers." Yes.
What's the organization?
He is like already overwhelmed. And
Good.
he's like, I can answer some more questions in a little bit, but first, I'm gonna need to collect whatever textbooks or anything that you had before for this class, because we are going to be switching over the curriculum. And he's kind of going up and down like the classroom. Also, just a disclaimer, if any of this is like not accurate to school, I already said I didn't go to school.
That's kind of my favorite thing, is like homeschool GMs talking about what high school is like my favorite.
Yeah, now that I know this, I'm really going to exploit you describing high school now, Taylor. This is so good.
I barely went to high school too, so like.
As he's collecting textbooks, I fully lean over to Bridget and just like, "So how is that not a sub?"
He's reading sub to me, you know, sub. Dub?
Well, if
No,
he's a sub, then we just gotta dom him into submission, right?
No! Oh, God!
He's collecting
So
these
gross.
textbooks and handing out.
What I didn't want.
He's also handing out the new material, which is...
I immediately start thumbing through it.
Yeah, you see that this is published by a company called where are my notes? CC Management LLC. So the letter C twice. And you're thumbing through it. It's, first of all, way less information than your previous textbook was like a textbook. This is like, I don't think this is how self-published books are now because of like Amazon and stuff, but like when I was younger, like when someone would have like a self-published book, it would have like that binder kind of thing to it, like the plasticky kind of thing. That's what this is. So it's like, it's not like, it is self-published by this company, so they have like one of those like plastic bindery things, And it is not as in-depth as anything that Cassandra would know about.
I like pick it up like this. This is what is this? Who wrote this?
I think it's our textbook.
This is not a textbook. This is a pamphlet.
Mr. Harris is like, now this may be different than your previous teacher, but this is a workbook, and I've been trained to go over this. And my understanding is that you all were supposed to be going over contraceptives today in class. Is that correct?
Yes, I brought a whole bunch of examples for the class.
He says, okay, well, you can put those away. Because this is all in the workbook. If you'll turn to page 15. Yes. And he's also passing around, just for ease, he's passing around a paper for like, attendance, so that he also knows people's names and like the seating chart and stuff like that. So he was looking at
writing like super loopy, like
yeah, I write on it so that it's hard to read.
Yeah, he does have also the seating chart like from the teacher, the previous teacher. So he's looking at that and kind of comparing it to, the attendance sheet. And Bridget, you raise your hand and he says, yes, Bridget.
Yeah, we're juniors, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
juniors.
We're not in preschool. We don't workbooks. It's workbooks? Like, what does that entail?
Well, it's an integrated book where it has the reading material, and there are also some exercises of things that you can, they're prompts that you can write in. And
not much.
These are, unlike the previous textbooks, these workbooks that I'm passing out to all of you, you do own them, so feel free to write in them, take notes, that kind of thing. Yes, Melissa. Wow, this is a chatty bunch right here. Sorry, what did you say, Melissa?
I just asked, I said, who were you trained by?
I was trained by CC Management LLC, the company that I work for.
I start Googling that.
Yeah, I think this should probably be the first role. So, because obviously he doesn't want people to be using their phones in class. And, what should this role even be? Because it doesn't really exactly fit in. So the 4 stats for
Vigor.
Yeah, vigor.
Because I'm not hiding it. I am like blatantly taking out my phone and like, oh, we'll see.
Yeah, for the benefit of chat, this game has 4 stats, which is craft, which has to do with the witchcraft that the players can each use. Knowledge, which is self-explanatory. It's kind of like, knowledge. Popularity, which is again kind of self-explanatory, and then vigor, which is like the kind of physical stat. I think go ahead and roll vigor. I guess this is to see how quickly you can do this.
Do it.
Yeah, without him noticing. So also for the benefit of the chat, the players will roll a d6, and they have a score in each of those abilities. And so you add the number on the dice to the score that you have for that ability. And that determines whether you're successful or not.
I got a 2 on the dice, and I have a 2 in vigor.
Cool. So on a 3 to 4, you can either fail or you can ask to succeed at a cost. I will give you the cost if you choose that option. I do have something in mind if you want to.
Yes, I will take. I want to succeed at a cost.
Cool.
Let's start this ball rolling.
You're able to get this information. So you look up this company, and you see that it is basically what he said. So it's like not that he's lying. It's a company that writes this material, trains teachers, and then hires those teachers out to like different schools. So if a school doesn't have like a sex ed teacher, they have one that can come in, or they can also do like single session like sex ed things, that kind of thing. But I think with the Google, you do some digging, you do find out what CC stands for, which is Chastity Charter. is what the CC stands for. So the charter kind of like, it's like kind of like charter school-ish. And then chastity, I think we're all familiar with.
Yeah, I say out loud, but more towards Melissa and Bridget, like chastity charter. This is not going to be educational.
And as you're saying that, the cost of this success is, as Mr. Harris goes by, you do this quickly enough that you're able to find this information, but as you're turning to your friends holding your phone and saying like chastity, he takes the phone out of your hand and says, I'll hold this for the rest of the day. We're not supposed to be using cell phones in class again. I'm not a substitute. I understand how this class works. If we can all get settled in. And he begins to teach the class, and obviously I don't have like the whole class thing.
Can I do something quickly, Taylor?
Yeah, for sure.
Before I start teaching the class, after he takes the phone, can I like turn around and like roll my eyes or something as I'm like applying lip gloss or whatever? I want to try to get the other students in on my side that this guy's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think this will definitely be a popularity roll, and you get to add +1 to what you already would add because you're using your makeup, which is part of how you do your magic.
That's a very bad roll, though, is the thing. It's a 1 on the dice plus a total of no. Yeah, plus a total of 4 makes it a 5.
I was gonna say, I think if you're using popularity and you're using your magic, you really can't fail.
Yeah.
So yeah, you roll your eyes, and like everyone in class starts kind of muttering and looking through this workbook and being like, "Oh, this guy's a nerd," which like Savory said in chat. No one, and also like it helps, you know, the teacher he's replacing is a popular teacher that people like, so they're like, "Oh, this guy who he's not even from this school. He's like mixing everything up." Paige, is there anything that Bridget wants to do before like class starts, like, you know, properly?
Not formally. I guess the only question I had was, is there either at the end of this workbook or like a loose leaf that I've had one of these types of workbooks where you have to sign a chastity pledge at the end. Is there one of those in this book?
Here's the thing that I'm trying to balance with this. I don't want this to be too like traumatic.
Yeah.
I think I was keeping this kind of like vaguely like that, but also like I was homeschooled, and so I had to go through a lot of stuff like that, and I'm like, how much of this do we want to get into? So I don't think there's necessarily like a chastity agreement, but there are like here's what I'll say. This might answer your question. So you're supposed to be learning about contraception today. So you're flipping, whether all of you do this, I feel like Cassandra's probably not doing this, but whoever is looking at like what's in the workbook, it has common forms of contraception, like little like, you know, illustrations or pictures or whatever of different kinds of contraception. But you definitely notice, yeah, I think I'll just give it to you. I don't think I want to have you roll for this. That the forms of contraception, like, it's like condoms, and then next to it says, like, has, like, a 0.1% failure rate, and, like, not effective in, like, these circumstances, and, like, all this different stuff. So you're noticing that with the contraception, it's mostly giving, like, cons, like, birth control. It has something about, like, how it can, like, is not effective against STDs is like one of the things that says about birth control, and then also says that it can, like, you know, cause like blood clots and like these side effects and things of birth control, which are like, all of the things in here are true, but it's not saying anything about the positive aspects. And it's also not like, I think, Cassandra, you notice that like dental dams are not in here, like any kind of contraception that's not like a main form is not even really listed. And then on the next page it has the only effective form of contraception is abstinence. and goes through, like, if you abstain from sex, you can't get pregnant, you can't get STDs, and is basically just like, this is like, if you want to have safe sex, the only safe sex is no sex, basically. And that's like the position of this workbook.
Cassandra absolutely reads that, raises her hand again.
Yes, Cassandra.
Oh, actually, sir, I don't think this is strictly
I think he calls
accurate.
You Jessica.
Oh. Cassandra narrows her eyes and she's like, I think you'll find, sir, that that's not true because masturbation is technically sex and that's perfectly safe. I'm sure like the class like giggles at that because like nobody talks about masturbation in school.
His face
like
turns bright red and he's like, well, we're not really talking about that today. We're talking about contraception for sex with a partner. Masturbation's not really something that I'm going to be covering during this class.
But that's the safest sex there is.
Look, Melissa likes Cassie, but she's also a little mortified right now.
Incidentally, this is absolutely how I was during my safe sex conversation in school. I think you'll find in our bodies ourselves.
He just kind of says like, well, Jessica, I don't really have an answer for that. Like I said, it's kind of beyond the scope of this course. Yes.
Yeah, my name is Cassandra, actually.
Oh,
I think you'll find that there's a note about that. Yeah.
Oh, I see that. Okay, let me circle this note. Cassandra. Okay, so
circle it a couple more times.
Circles it.
He follows her instructions too. He did it.
He's the sub, right?
He circles it multiple times. That's pretty much how the rest of the like. I don't have like his lesson plan for this. That's pretty much how the rest of the class goes. Is I'm assuming him getting interrupted a lot by Cassandra. But honestly, he doesn't have that much to cover because it's like. He's basically just talking about how, he doesn't do a demonstration. Like, you don't have the whole, banana condom thing. Like, he doesn't do any of that stuff. He's just, talking about, I think he talks a lot about STDs. And it's, these are the STDs that you can get and, the symptoms of them. And then, it just keeps being,
Does he have, a horrifying slideshow with images?
Yes. Yeah, definitely a horrifying slideshow. And, really kind of scare tactic-y stuff about, teen pregnancy, that, and STDs. That's basically what the class is. So yeah, I think that's the class. What are you all wanting to do after class?
That was some bullshit. All of that was technically accurate, but it's also total scaremongery nonsense.
I don't see how he's not a sub.
There's also that. I mean, yeah, he's obviously, is he just going to be the sex ed teacher from now on? Is that?
Yeah, indefinitely, or is this one of, I had a teacher in 4th grade who, had cancer, and then, we had, a sub-type person for, 6 months. Is it that situation?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't like him. He gives me the ick. He reminds me of my mom's boyfriend. I guess you'd call my stepdad, but they talk about it the same way.
Ugh. Yeah, no. I mean, I'm half tempted to just invite out the class to my house, and my parents will tell them a lot more information. There's some videos, way more interesting than that.
I hope you're not hurt by this, but I think getting accurate sex ed from somebody's parents is way worse than getting inaccurate sex ed from a teacher.
Well, you say that, but statistics show.
I mean, look at me. I'm perfectly fine, and I never got the sex talk. So this is Bridget. Yeah, my parents. I think my dad my dad one time when we came back from a boating trip and he sat me down and he told me that boys are bad and never to be alone with a boy. But I just kind of took that and ran with it. And
I
I'm
mean,
fine.
to be fair, a lot of the guys in this school, as we know, are pretty terrible. So it's not, again, it's not inaccurate. It's just maybe scaremongery.
Yeah, maybe it was a prophecy to keep you from biting a kid's tattoo off and getting suspended.
Yeah, definitely.
That was pretty sweet, though.
It was rad. It was amazing.
Well, as you both know, a part of my suspension included anger management classes, so I'm really working through a lot of that. So that's going much better. Yeah.
Counting backwards from 10. Doing morning pages.
Yes.
Oh, so you probably also already have a workbook.
I'm sick of workbooks. Yeah.
Well, I mean, what I want to do is I want to go talk to the administration. That's my inclination. Do we have another class?
I mean, Cassie, I still think it would be awkward if your parents taught something, but what if you taught something?
That's true. I could absolutely teach a class on this.
Yeah, like our own underground secret class.
I like secrets, and I love the idea of the entire class being like me and making Mr. Harris feel extremely uncomfortable. Yeah, okay, yeah. I mean, I still think we should talk to Mr. Harris or talk to the administration about like what happened to Miss Garcia, because that's
100%, yes.
Weird, but yeah, in the meantime, absolutely. Let's like print up some flyers at the local Kinko's.
Wait, did I have a good idea?
Yeah, I love that idea.
Underground sex ed. Yeah.
The principal of the school is named Principal Gordon. And if you wanted to like have a meeting with her, you definitely could do that. I think like I'm not interested in being like, all right, the next class you go to is this or whatever. So like if you all want to be like we have plans after school, or like we're doing this, or we're going to the principal's office, like that's cool.
Like a flex period or something, a study hall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you want to go talk to the principal during like your study hall, I think that would be cool. So yeah, you all talk to, your teacher or whatever like that for study hall, and it's like you get a pass to go to the principal's office.
We volunteer.
Whatever happens, you can talk to your principal. So you
Taylor, what is the exact process for talking to the principal?
Schools are not, a lot of this is not federally mandated, so
that's true. I absolutely just marched into the principal's office on more than one occasion.
Yeah, so it varies from school to school. At your school, the principal is relatively easy to get in contact with, especially because you all do have an in with Mrs. Bassett, who is the receptionist for like the principal. So I think that's really the thing, is like in between classes, one of you goes and says something to Mrs. Bassett, and they're like, hey, we want to talk to Principal Gordon. You talk to your teacher at study hall. That's fine. So yeah, you head over there. You go past Mrs. Bassett, which actually I'll really quickly, I don't know how much she's going to be in this, but I do have art for her. Mrs. Bassett clicking away. I think, I already sent it to you all. Clicking away on her, she's got those acrylic nails, and chewing gum. You go by and she says, yeah, Principal Gordon's waiting for you already, so you can all go ahead and go in and talk to her. And so you do, and do you have a thing?
Yeah, I think I slide Mrs. Bassett like one of her like favorite candy bars or something, like as a tip.
She says, "Oh, bless you, Cassandra. This is one of my favorites."
I got you.
I love that nail color.
Yeah, it's like hot pink. Okay, let me get the principal to you all. So you head into her office. And it's, like standard office-y kind of room. She's got, like some bookshelves in here and like a cabinet. She's sitting at her desk. And you come in, she's got, some like armchairs and like seating in here. And she says, ladies, have a seat. Mrs. Bassett said that you had some concerns that you wanted to bring to me about something with one of the teachers.
She does. And I point to
Cassandra takes out the workbook and like is about to just like slap it onto the table, like very like cop show style. And then is like, wait, no. We've been overly familiar with several adults already today. And so she gently puts it down on the desk and she's like, this is extremely inaccurate. I mean, it's technically accurate, but it's missing a lot of important information.
Well, it is from an accredited institution, and this is something...
Is it accredited?
It is an accredited institution, and it's something that the administration has been looking into for a little while, and unfortunately, I think this is, you're always free to dislike your classes or disagree with what's being taught in them, but that is going to be the new curriculum for the sexual education class, at least for this semester.
Is Miss Garcia okay?
Yes, she's fine.
So like I'd understand if you started this before we started the class, but like, did she do something?
I think Principal Gordon says, administrative issues with staff are not usually something that students have particular access to, but I'll just say that Ms. Garcia and Buckland High School had an amicable parting. She's not going to be a teacher at this school any longer.
And you say this has something to do with the school board?
She frowns at you and she says, partially. I mean, it is.
Cassandra takes out a notebook.
It is something the school board voted on. But as I said, I can't really give you too much information about it. It is a private school matter. Hiring and firing is not something that the students typically have access
so she was fired.
Yeah, so she's fired?
She parted ways. She parted ways with the school.
I guess I'm just curious because like this is a really big difference like from what we were learning, and I'm sure that students will find it very confusing since there's a lot of contradictory information.
Well, Mr. Harris is trained for situations like this to take over for previous teachers. That is something that they train at CC Management LLC as part of their teacher training. I know this is probably going to be a little bit of a difficult transition for you, but I assure you it is going to be the best for your education.
We're just concerned about her. We want to know what happened for her sake. And by the way, I love that eyeshadow.
You're wanting to roll a suggestion.
Yeah. And that's my craft, right?
Yes, that's your craft. So
okay.
You can get you really can't fail.
That's a 6.
Okay. Here's something interesting that happens, Melissa. You say this, and because you rolled so well, I'm going to give you some information about why this is happening.
Cool.
Or Principal Gordon, what does it normally look like when Melissa uses her power of suggestion? Like, what does it normally look like when that's successful? Like, do you have an idea of like how people react, or like something that Melissa knows that like, oh yeah, this worked?
I think from Melissa's end, she's trying to do that thing where you make somebody feel like they're the only person in the room.
Yeah.
Like eyes like tractor beams. I'm not sure what it looks like on their end.
Yeah. Like maybe, I think based on the eyes like tractor beam thing, I think maybe what normally happens is that people get kind of a shift in their expression, and Melissa is always the one who breaks eye contact. Like it's always like once she starts doing this, people are like really engaged with her, and when she looks away, that's kind of like when it's broken. You know that your craft is honed in. You're doing everything that you normally do that works. Principal Gordon breaks eye contact with you first, and as she does, you notice that she's wearing this ring that's like a moonstone ring. And when you clock that, you also notice there are like other crystals in this room, like on her bookshelves and like on her desk. There's like a lot of amethyst and like some opal. And you know, because you rolled so well, that she has some kind of like protection against like magic in this office, which is like magic is not like a thing that people know about necessarily. So like definitely interesting. And I think you know, because you rolled so well, you're instantly like, oh, like we can't use magic against this person, which is weird.
I bet she doesn't say anything in response yet.
So you said we just want to make sure Ms. Garcia is okay. She like kind of looks away from you. I'll also say with a 6, since that is like a full success, she doesn't necessarily catch on to the fact that you are trying to use magic on her. It's like kind of a passive thing. And so she kind of looks away from you, looks at Cassandra, looks at Bridget, and is just like, as I said, I'm afraid I can't really help you girls with anything else today. All I can let you know is that Ms. Garcia is completely fine. She has parted ways with this school, but there are no hard feelings. And I will make note of the fact that you're not happy with the new curriculum. We will take that into account going forward with, you know, future semesters. But for now, Mr. Harris is your sex ed teacher, and that is how it's going to remain for your semester.
What's her demeanor like?
She seems very stern. Like, not, like, angry, but, like, very... I mean, like a pretty stern principal, you know?
Okay.
Like, she's kind of
I was curious if she's, like, you know, look, this is the decision, get over it, or if she's like, I understand, it is what it is.
The way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, like if she's like I guess asserting her dominance of the situation, or if she's like a little apologetic.
Definitely not apologetic. It's definitely like, you know how there's a thing where it's like you're not supposed to, like, for legal reasons, you're not supposed to, like, apologize for things because it, like, shows that you're liable. That's the way that she's talking. So she's not saying, like, your concerns don't matter. Like, she is saying, like, we'll take note of this. You're lodging a complaint about this class. But it's also, like, she's not saying, like, oh, like, I'm sorry that, like, you don't blah, 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 blah. She's covering her ass, basically. I mean, definitely the way that she's talking.
There.
Yeah.
I pick up the workbook again, like between like 2 fingers. I'm like, great, thanks. That would be wonderful. And I walk out disgusted.
I like, as soon as I can, once we're out of the room, I want to like huddle, like whether, you know, just like an empty corridor, not the bathroom. I'm not that smart, but I'm smarter than that. I'm like, did you see all the crystals in the office?
Oh, I wasn't really paying attention. I was more watching her behavior. Why, were there a lot of crystals?
Yeah, and she had on like a ring. And then when I tried to use my magic to get her to tell us exactly what happened, she looked away first. And that doesn't happen. It never happens. And so...
Do you think someone gave her those crystals, or do you think...
Maybe. Could be. But...
Would I remember ever seeing them? Like, is this new?
Not new.
It's not new.
Maybe, I don't know. It's up to you whether Cassandra just hasn't really, like, thought about it. Because
I think Cassandra, like goes in there with a plan all the time and has probably, like, thrown down more than one thing on the desk and been like, what is this?
Well, and we've all seen somebody's office that has, like, too much of something. And you're like, this person just collects cactus-themed Christmas
right.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Yeah, but not new. Something that she's had if you've been in there before.
Huh. I wonder if we could get Mrs. Bassett to give us the number of Miss Garcia, maybe? Or we could look her up on Facebook.
Yeah, tell her we want to send her an edible arrangement or something.
Yeah, definitely.
Or we could ask the Board of Ed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm going to tell my parents about this, and they are absolutely going to tear the board.
I would probably have an easier time getting Miss Garcia's contact info from Mrs. Bassett, I think. If one of you wants to get, like, the Board of Education.
I'll also ask you
who wants to divide and conquer. We don't have to.
I'll ask you one other thing, because it could be another potential, like, avenue that you would have access to. Are any of you in the GSA? Like, your school's GSA?
Oh, absolutely. Cassandra absolutely went and, like, made a GSA happen and was like, you are giving us legally, this is where her knowledge comes out, right? It's like, she's like, legally, you have to give us the same amount of funding that you give all the other clubs in this school, which by my calculations is, and she pulls out another notebook, this amount of money. So we have GSA or lawsuit.
Cassandra, when this happened previously, when you like went, presumably to the principal, went in and like presented your case, you presented your case, all this different stuff, and she let you, say all this different stuff. And then she was like, well, you'll be very happy to know that we have a GSA. And that it is funded and provided you the information.
Good.
Yeah, provided
Fine.
You the information to join.
I don't get the brownie point for starting at the
but part of the reason why, like, normally I would just be like, oh yeah, that's cool. But the reason why this is pertinent is because Ms. Garcia was, like, the teacher sponsor, like, like when clubs have to have, like, a teacher. So that's why I'm having it, that it was already established.
So if she isn't there, then the GSA is also threatened.
Or perhaps somebody in the GSA would know about what happened, because there is, like, the president of the GSA, who presumably would have to be, like, figuring out, or at least in the loop.
Taylor, would I probably, like, know if they're a senior, I assume, would I, like, know our class president?
You do know your class president. Like,
if they're the person that's in a bunch of clubs?
That is another possible avenue that I have an NPC that is the class president. I have it as, your school has, like, class presidents for each class. So the junior class president. So let me get you those information, or those NPCs. The first one, the president of the GSA, who's a senior, his name's Soren Scott, Soren. And I will give you his little thing.
Well, yeah, you can do whatever you want, Kitty. I was just wondering if the president of the GSA was also the school president, because I was thinking of, like, overachiever resource in election.
Oh, yeah. Two different people. Yeah. So there's the president of the GSA, who's a senior, and then there's the junior class president, who's a junior. So the first picture that I sent you all is Soren. And then the second one that I'm sending you is, what did I make her name? Sanaya Patel, who is the junior class president, And let me put those on the screen so chat can
Do
see.
you
them.
have possibly the senior class president or somebody else who's a senior that I could maybe talk about, like, what was this like last year to see if something went down?
Yeah, Soren's a senior.
Okay.
So, I mean, if you want to
Soren.
make up a new NPC, like last time we made up Mrs. Bassett. So if you want to make up a new NPC that's like this person, that's totally cool. I really like collaborative stuff. But if you want to like talk to someone who's like already, you know, established, that works too. I'm fine with either.
If Kitty wants to talk to, if Cassie wants to talk to Soren, that should be fine. I'm just trying to think of all the different possible avenues.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we talk to Soren and we get Ms. Garcia's information because
Oh, this is our Charlie's Angels divide and conquer moment. I can
well,
feel it.
because I feel like it's. I mean, like I said, I know that my parents are going to be very invested in this. So, like, we can kind of have them have the Board of Education fight, which is probably going to go farther than us doing it on our own. But I think that getting the story from Miss Garcia herself is also going to be important testimony.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I'll get my court case after all.
I was just about to say, like, Bridget would be like, I've never done the proper avenue of getting a teacher fired, so this is a whole new process for me. But we could probably also get all the students in the sex ed class to sign a petition. That's the word. Yeah, sorry, Bridget's never been a part of a petition.
My parents, I don't know if they have any strong thoughts about sex ed, but you know, whatever I ask for, they, you know, tend to go with.
Yeah, that sounds helpful, honestly. Like, the more parents we can get invested,
Okay,
the
so
better.
possibly talking to Soren about getting Ms. Garcia's information is what we're talking about doing.
Well, and just like see like who's going to be in charge of the GSA now, because when you get a company. Oh, I need to get my phone back too.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, you do.
I should probably focus on that, but
Or else you're going to be walking around with an iPad like you're 90.
Oh my god, ugh, yeah, that would just be ugh. So yeah, I want to get my phone back, but I was looking up the name of the company and it's like Chastity Charter. That smacks of some weird fundy stuff. And if they could knock out the GSA as well, that's absolutely the kind of political move they would do. But it surprises me because the principal's never been like that before. So that's weird.
But she's also had these.
She's had the crystals, but I mean,
Yeah.
I think she just likes crystals. I don't know.
I mean, I kind of got the impression that the crystals were somehow involved in blocking out.
Yeah, I've heard they're great for that.
Yeah, well, I don't know entirely. When I was looking at her mannerisms, I don't know that that was a conscious, like, I'm gonna do this on purpose thing. You know, like
maybe they weren't in that moment, but maybe they were when she first brought them in. Whenever she started with the school,
Guys, crystals is also one of the tools a basic witch could have, so she could be a witch. And she just knows how to clear, like, to prevent people from
abstinence only sex education witch. What a traitor!
But it could be a casting tool. I was like, wait, couldn't one of us have crystals as a specialization?
Yeah. One of you could.
Oh,
no.
We have so many different.
We have
you know
for
what?
one shot
right now.
I'm gonna go get my phone, and then I have a little bit of time to go across the street to the rebuilt coffee crypt, get another matcha latte, and then I'll go to there's a GSA meeting today, so I'll do that. But I got to get that phone first.
Okay.
Cool.
So I'm gonna go hunt down Mr. Harris. Either of you want to come with me? Bridget,
Yeah,
you
I'll come
absolutely
with
be
you on that.
intimidating. And yeah, great, Melissa. Let's go. Let's go get my phone back.
Yeah. So, Bridget, Melissa? It sounds like Melissa and Cassandra are doing the same thing together, which is getting the phone and then getting coffee and then going to the GSA meeting. Is Bridget doing that also, or is Bridget splitting off?
No, I'd rather stick with the group.
Cool. So yeah, I think probably by now, let's say that this conversation is kind of happening in snippets throughout the rest of the school day where you're all figuring out what your plan is. So like in between classes, you're kind of saying like, oh, actually I could do this. Oh, actually, like I know this thing. So
we're not just loudly standing in the hallway.
Yeah.
Outside the principal's office.
And Cassandra's just like, God, this would be so much easier to plan if I had my phone.
Yeah, you can't.
Well, that sounds like a you problem.
And that's why we have to keep meeting up. We can't text.
Right.
Perfect.
It's like Benny Hill, like do.
Yeah. You're running out of different classrooms, and then Scooby-Doo runs out of a classroom. So yeah, you all head over to the classroom where like the sex ed classroom or wherever Mr. Harris is. And he is like kind of packing up his stuff, I think, and like, you know, getting ready to leave. But Cassandra, I'm assuming you're coming in first.
I pound the door and then walk right in. I don't wait.
Yeah. He says, Cassandra.
Yes.
Oh, your phone.
Yes.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. Let me get that for you. And so he opens the drawer, hands it over to you, and he says, I'm giving this back to you. Obviously, it's your personal property, but I better not see you have it in class anymore.
You won't see me.
Cool.
I smile and I walk out. I also take note of what drawer he puts contraband in.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be coming back for that drawer later.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
That's too smart.
Whatever one of the drawers is.
Mr. Harris,
Mm-hmm.
is teaching like your life's passion? Is this something you really care about?
I'm very
Or is it just
passionate
a
about
job?
it. Yeah.
Okay.
What did Melissa say?
Oh, I just asked how long he's been teaching.
Just a few years teaching this material.
And did you teach other stuff before that? Like math or?
No, this is my primary teaching experience is this material.
Career change. Nice. Good choice. Keep it varied. Smart.
Yeah, I have a lot of job satisfaction, actually.
Really?
Yeah, it's nice to go to different schools. I'm passionate about the subject,
Make a lot of friends, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of looks
Cassandra's
at you.
in the hallway,
No,
but
I'm sure you make a lot of friends that way.
Cassandra absolutely puts in the group chat, like, ask what other schools he's taught at. Like, she doesn't want to talk to him anymore, but like...
You have to maintain your coolness.
Yeah. I've already stormed out. I can't go back.
I've 100% done that.
Me too.
Are one of you asking for Cassandra?
Yeah. So like you said you have a lot of friends. Is that the teachers you've gotten to work with, over these contracts?
I'm sorry. I thought you were making fun of me like I didn't have friends, but I do. I do have friends. I don't make that many friends, on the job since I'm mostly interacting with students. But yeah, there are other teachers, during training. I keep in contact with some of the other teachers who are in my classes, and I have to go back in every once in a while for, recertification, that kind of thing.
So most of your friends come from your LLC, not the schools you're going to?
Yeah, I think that'd be safe to say.
Oh.
So is there like a conference you all go to every year for like retraining or anything like that?
There are conferences, yeah. They're a lot of fun, actually, yeah.
Any fun places you've gotten to go for the conferences?
Milwaukee.
Ohio?
Yeah, the last one was Milwaukee, yeah. We went to,
You see Cassandra just taking notes, like looking through the window, like
the window panel.
We went to St. Louis a couple years ago. Yeah, my first year was Chicago.
No, it does. You might not think that that's funny, but if Cassie was here, Cassie would think that it's funny.
Well, I don't have any other questions for Mr. Harris.
We're one because I think Cassandra wanted to know where else he's taught.
Yeah,
Oh.
Cassandra's trying to figure out, like, are there kids at other schools that we could?
Right.
See, I was trying to figure out if it's some type of like cult, basically.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any nearby rivals you've helped out with? We have a strong rivalry with
The fighting
Knights. Tigers.
Yeah, we hate both of them.
Yeah, he lists off some schools. It seems like it's a pretty wide geographical location that he teaches at. So there's like a school that's like 45 minutes away. There's another school that's in the same school district. There's like definitely like some private schools too that he mentions that he teaches at, like a charter school that he teaches at. So he teaches at like a variety of different schools, basically.
Gosh, your commute must be tough.
Yeah, sometimes this one luckily is not too far.
I'm just laughing because I'm imagining a teacher like getting all these questions from students and being like, this is the most anyone has ever been interested in my life.
He's definitely, like, the fact that he's, like, talking to you like this definitely does give him kind of, like, a sad vibe where he's, like, eager for the social interaction. So it's like, he doesn't really seem to think it's that weird that you're talking to him, even though
literally once I sense that from him, I stop being interested.
And I don't pick up on that.
Is he giving, like, aged out youth pastor vibes?
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god, he's also he's not that old. Like, he's probably in his like late 20s.
Yeah, but I mean, when you're in high school, that's ancient.
Yeah.
Like,
When he taught us, did he turn around the chair and sit on it like a horse?
Next class period.
Anybody who does that's either a youth pastor or a choreographer. No other possibility.
Yeah, he definitely has
no in between.
Strong youth pastor vibes.
Oh, okay. So some nearby schools, commute's not bad. Good for you.
Cassandra pokes her head in and's like, I gotta rescue them. Coffee Crib's gonna close in.
Oh
shit. Fuck.
Shoot.
Okay.
Come on.
Okay, but now
Dang.
I know we were cool, but you can't use that kind of language in front of a teacher.
After hours.
That's what I was gonna say.
It's definitely not a rule as well. Still not curse after hours with a teacher.
As long as it's after hours, you can say whatever you want to a teacher.
Finger gun out the door, baby.
You
Also awkwardly standing there alone, like. Okay.
The shuffle, the big dress shuffle.
Yeah, you head over to the coffee crypt, and then is there anything that you want to do at the coffee crypt, or do we just want to go to the GSA meeting?
I mean, I kind of wonder if the coffee crypt is so close, I almost imagine the GSA meeting is at the coffee crypt.
Yeah, let's do that. That makes sense.
I
too,
definitely
because
could
it's
see that happening.
There's also a thing sometimes at GSA meetings where it's like, even though this is kind of silly because it's across the street from the school, but like some students don't want people to know that they're in the GSA, so it's like, it's off school grounds. Obviously, that's a little bit silly here because it is the school hangout. But
I think, like Melissa, for example, who isn't a part of the GSA, could have the excuse of being there.
Yeah.
Because
what a crazy random happenstance.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, so you get your drinks, and I'll put Soren back up on the screen for chat. So you're at this GSA meeting, and I think you got there. It's already like kind of in progress since you went and like talked to Mr. Harris for so long.
Fair.
You come in.
Yeah, I'll take that.
And Soren is in the middle of like talking to some of the other students who were there. Sees you, Cassandra, and he says, "Oh, hey, Cassandra. I'm assuming you're here for the meeting." Kind of nods at Bridget and Melissa, like
Yes.
saying hello.
Yes. Also, do you see what happened with the sex ed class?
Yeah, that's what we were actually talking about. I was kind of giving an update to everybody else that Ms. Garcia is not the sponsor for our for GSA anymore.
How
How
did that happen?
Well, she emailed me last night, and
Oh, you have her email address?
I have her email address because we have to plan.
Oh my god,
stuff.
can I have her email address? I wanted to follow up on something from class that.
Yeah, for sure. He gives you the email address, and he's like, yeah, she emailed me last night and said that she'd been asked to step down from teaching, wouldn't be able to be the sponsor for the club, but that another teacher, Mr. Nelson, is taking over, which
Teaching
Mr. Nelson...
period, or just teaching at the school?
Taking over the GSA, like, teacher
Oh, okay.
sponsorship. Yeah. Which Mr. Nelson is, like, just another teacher, like, probably teaches, like, some other, like history or something like that. So not Mr. Harris taking over, and there is another teacher who's, like, lined up. And Soren is just like, yeah, so I emailed her to find out what was going on. Did you hear anything about it? Do you know what's up?
I mean, we talked to the principal, who was being very stick brass about the whole thing, frankly.
Yeah, I tried to talk to her too this morning. I came in early and she didn't really do anything.
I'm pretty sure she got fired for all of the like, oh, we parted in good faith, whatever.
Yeah, Ms. Garcia told me that they asked her to step down. There's a rumor. We were all kind of just talking because the meeting tonight obviously is like kind of derailed. We were going to talk about some like events and stuff coming up, but obviously we all really like Ms. Garcia, so we're kind of just, we decided to turn this meeting into just kind of a chance for everyone to talk about it and, talk about if there's anything we can do, because apparently there's this like Facebook group for parents, and they've been complaining about her, and the stuff she's
the only
been
people who are on Facebook are parents, so that makes sense.
Right. Yeah. So apparently like last semester and then over the break and this semester they've been complaining about stuff, and they went to the school board, and apparently that's why Ms. Garcia had to step down.
Interesting. Do you know what the name of the Facebook group is by any?
Yeah, it's it's something kind of generic. It's parents of Buckland High School students or something like that.
Okay.
Buckland High School parents, I think is what it's called.
Okay. Interesting. All right. I'll have to see if my parents are in that group. We can see if we can figure out.
Yeah, I think I know somebody in that group. We can take a look at it.
Well, I mean, I was thinking about running an underground sex ed class.
Oh, really?
I mean, look at this workbook. There's like, they don't even mention gloves.
Soren takes the workbook from you and starts flipping
Gloves.
through it. because he's a senior, so like he's already taken this class, he doesn't have like the workbook. So he starts flipping through it and he's like, Oh, this is terrible. This is
We definitely looked at some very graphic pictures today. And not fun ones.
He
Truly, so many dicks.
I think Melissa is traumatized for life.
Soren starts to look like pretty dejected and is like, this really sucks, because one of the reasons why, you know, Cassandra, this was before you were in GSA, but like one of the reasons why we liked Ms. Garcia is because, like, you know, we could always come to her with stuff like, you know, when I first started here, the class was a lot more like cis heteronormative.
Normative.
So we, you know, she always listened to us, and, you know, like, as a trans student, it was really, like, I really liked having someone teach the class who was really, you know, open to stuff like that. And, I mean, this book doesn't have any of that. Like, we all worked really hard on getting that stuff into this class. And, like, this book doesn't have, like, anything. This is like a Google search, you know?
And a bad one at that.
A bad Google search.
I mean, well, so the company that makes these workbooks is called Chastity Charter LLC. It's clearly some very thinly veiled propaganda.
I think Soren kind of looks around at the other students who are, like, in the GSA, and he's like, well, we could take a vote on it, but I feel like probably everyone here would be comfortable having the GSA host you doing some sex ed stuff. I can help with that,
We'd
too.
We'd have to keep it pretty, like, quiet, because
we have to lock the
not
shit
gonna be
chastity belt.
Yeah, parents are not going to be happy about this, but yeah, I think that makes sense. Oh, where are we going to host it?
Yeah, probably not. Probably shouldn't host it at Coffee Crypt.
I'm pretty sure the Coffee Crypt would have some problems. Not ethically, but legally, perhaps.
Yeah. Also, kind of can be a turnoff. You know, people are, like, eating and drinking here, and then, you know, some of the sex ed stuff can get, you know, kind of gnarly. Yeah, I don't know, but, I mean, if you... We'll keep talking about it during the meeting, and we can put it to a vote. But at least we could, you know, get you some, use some of our budget to get, like, materials and stuff you would need, that kind of thing.
Yeah, okay. I mean, honestly, I have look at all the materials I already have. I don't think I'm going to need much budget. Like, I've been prepared for this for a while.
Cassandra pulls something out, and, like, as you're pulling
there's
it
just,
out,
like, condoms and, like, female condoms and those, like, little finger condoms. Like,
one of the Coffee Crypt employees just kind of, like, looks at, like, gives you a sideways glance.
I just, like, offer one.
They take it.
Okay, yeah. So, okay, I think, and Mr. Nelson's cool, right? Like, I mean, he's a little probably retiring, but he's not gonna shut down the GSA.
No, Mr.
Yeah, okay.
Nelson's cool. Like, he's been to events sometimes. And
Okay.
he has a whole thing in class where he talks about, you know, like, the different civil rights movements and stuff like that. So I think he's not as cool as Ms. Garcia, but
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, thank you, Soren. That's helpful. And yeah, let's figure out where to host a event. I mean, I'm down. I'm ready.
Maritime law. We could host it on my boat, and it doesn't matter.
Oh my God, Bridget! Yes, that's such a good idea. It'll be like a little sex ed party on your boat.
I'll be honest, there's not a lot of space, and I have to clean up a bit. But we could host like maybe 10 or 15 people.
That's a good start, honestly. Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah, I think.
I think I've got everybody's numbers on like from the last time we had a phone tree situation. So.
Yeah, so we're on pier number 4.
Going out to international waters just to cover our asses.
I don't even know where we are in the world.
Let's do that.
It's all
Let's
New
do that
Jersey.
this weekend. It'll be like that way, like people could be like, oh, we're going to a party. And then we could just do that instead. I mean, we can also make it a party.
I have no idea what was supposed to imply on my part, but
I mean, you know.
So I'll say, like, normally for something like this, I would have you roll. Like, there's other situations that I, like, have prepped where, like, you might have to, like, roll something to convince people of this. But this is a very easy sell. This is a group of people that you're going to who are looking for a solution to a problem, which is, like, you know, they like Ms. Garcia. They're not happy that about the new sex ed stuff. So I'm not even going to have you roll popularity or anything like that because you are coming in with a solution to a problem that these people were already talking about. So they, you know, continue the meeting. They do a vote on having a sex ed class on Bridget's boat this weekend.
Sex ed over troubled waters.
Yeah. And I think Soren is like, yeah, I'll have to call Mr. Nelson tonight because, you know, he's the one who actually has access to the bank account and everything. But yeah, that should be fine.
yeah, Bridget, you could make some money on this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I don't care about that as long as it's important to Cassandra.
Bridget, always take the money.
I mean, I need all of it up front, and depending on, there's some convenience fees we can just throw in. And
Soren is
Docking
like,
fee.
I'll get you in contact with Mr. Nelson.
One docking fee.
yeah, okay. I send him my card. Okay.
Yeah, so that's like, you know, probably an hour or so, like the rest of the GSA meeting and the voting and all of that. Is there something else that you all want to do?
So I'm thinking, so this is like early evening now at this point. I think, I mean, I feel like we should follow up with Ms. Garcia.
Yeah, send an
And I
email
didn't
or whatever.
necessarily want to tell the whole GSA about that if we do that. But there seems something fishy is going on here. I also think we should try to see if any of our parents are in this Facebook group.
I was thinking of maybe making a fake Facebook profile and going into this group and using popularity to do so.
Yeah.
That's such a good idea.
Yeah.
Sock.
Minor catfishing.
Yeah.
Minor catfishing. Yeah, I like that. Let me see, what time is it? Let's do the Facebook group thing because I think that'll be pretty quick. And then probably after that we can take a break and then we'll come back for the last half of the game because we're clipping along.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, Melissa, I think go ahead and make me a popularity check to get into this Facebook group.
Please feel free to say no. But I think for like an avatar, I'm picking like an older makeup guru, like.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, if I look hot, maybe people will trust me more.
Yeah, so you're trying to use makeup as part of
yeah, but I know that that's kind of a stretch. So.
I think that's fine. This is a role that I think it's not that hard to do.
That's a 5.
Cool. So yeah, you make this thing. You're instantly pretty much admitted to this group. Part of the thing with a 5, part of the thing that makes it especially easy is that, like, it's not even a private group. Like, it's, it's like like you still
don't
can
even
join
get that.
it, and like someone has to approve you to join it. Like you can't post unless you're like a member, but it's like one of those ones where you can see all of the posts that are in the group even if you're not a member.
Okay.
So yeah, you join the group. What is this character that you've created? What is her name?
I think it's one of those things where, like, okay, so the beauty guru who I'm about to say is not old, but it's somebody that, like, to Melissa would be old, and that is Tati.
Oh,
you know,
okay.
so it's like at her oldest, like 39.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, that's parent age.
So is your profile picture just Tati?
Tati
I think it's like
Westbrook.
a little bit of bad photoshopping, but also these parents aren't gonna know who that is.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
That's so funny.
Genius.
And I think, okay, so I think what I'm saying is basically I'm posing as like either like my kid is a freshman or like my kid will be a freshman next year. So like somebody let me know like what teachers I need to advocate for my kid having. Because I don't want them to be influenced by like the wrong kinds of people.
Okay.
Mm.
Did you say
I
the
like
name
it
for
big.
this character, or are you also
Oh,
just
I'm sorry, that's what you asked me.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
That's fine.
I want to make it something stupid like Topanga. Like, Rebecca Matthews. Just like a pretty generic.
You're very Boy Meets World mind. Because
I never even watched that show as a kid. I don't know.
Matthews is the last name, right? It's Corey Matthews. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then obviously Topanga. Yeah, so you're Rebecca Matthews. You post this thing. Are you looking around the group at all while you're like waiting for responses?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You're scrolling a little bit. So the group is like kind of a mishmash of a lot of different things. As with most Facebook groups like this, it's mostly complaining. Like, it's 99% people being like, we were supposed to have like this thing for lunch today, and my kid came home and said that they had burgers instead, and we're not being kept up to date on blah blah blah, like very like minor gripes that people are blowing up. But as you're looking through it, you're definitely seeing one of the top posts, like it probably is the top post because it's like continually getting liked and commented on, is a post from, I almost made something up and then I was like, no, I actually already have this woman. I already made up someone. I don't need to remake someone up. Is from a woman named Helen Cameron. And the post basically says like, great news, like all in caps, great news. And then it says, all of our hard work finally paid off. Ms. Garcia is no longer a teacher at Buckland High. Our kids will no longer have to be subjected to inappropriate content. I'm proud to say that our suggested replacement has been accepted. The school is going with CC Management LLC. Thank you, everyone, for your hard work. And the woman's profile picture, actually, I think she has a profile picture, and then also the thing on the post is like her little Facebook cartoon, like, you know how you can like make a cartoon of yourself. God. And it's her like throwing confetti. And I'm gonna put it in there. And then let me do this.
Obviously, Taylor, I'm screenshotting as much as I can and sending it to these two.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, definitely. I want to see a screenshot of all of the parents who are speaking up in this group. And also, I want to cross-reference these names with last year's yearbook.
Oh, that's smart.
Oh, yeah.
I want to know which kids are related to these parents, because we could also possibly turn the kids against their parents.
Yeah. I'll say make an intelligent, or not intelligence, knowledge roll to do the cross-referencing.
That is a 6 on the dice and a 3 of my knowledge. So
Very
this
good.
is my department.
Yeah, you're like just getting these screenshots like instantly. You're like, I think also with like a 9, you're also you clock that it's a public group, so you're able to like do some more searching on like previous posts and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Interestingly, as you're cross-referencing, most of the parents that are like getting in on this are not even parents of students who have had this class previously. Yeah, it's mostly parents who...
That is always the way it goes.
Yep.
Yeah, it's mostly parents of, like, freshmen and sophomores who haven't taken the class yet and who are like, we don't want our kids to have to learn about this stuff. And then there's, like, a few parents from, like, you know, I think maybe, like, 1 or 2 parents from, like, the previous class. One of whom I think is Helen Cameron. Like, her kid took the class last semester, and she has, like, another student, like, another kid who's, like, younger. And so, like, she's complaining about, you know, this is, I think you are searching, and you're seeing posts from further back that are, like, the beginning rumblings of this. That's this woman, like, saying, my son just came home today and said that they learned about, you know, blah, 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 blah. Like, they learned about the clitoris today, and, like, I don't think that's appropriate. And it's, like, always stuff where it's, like, something that's just more specific than some other sex ed classes are. Where it's, like, I don't see why my son should have to learn about the clitoris. Why don't we just have, back in my day, we would just go into the gym, we'd split into 2 groups, and we'd learn about our period, and that was it. And, like, that's kind of her whole thing. And
we'd watch a video from the 70s.
Yeah. And since
I always think of, are you there, God? It's me, Margaret.
Yeah. And I think the thing that you're noticing with such a high roll, Cassandra, is it's one of those things where, like, her first few posts have, like, 1 like, no comments, but she's posting about it so much that she's kind of getting people on board. And so, like, as she's posting more, there are more likes, there's, like, new parents joining the group that are like, thanks for adding me, like, commenting on her things, thanks for adding me, I don't want my daughter to have to learn about this stuff. So she's definitely, like, recruiting people to join the group and, like, building momentum.
So here's what I especially want to know with knowing these kids. Like, from what little I know about their kids, are their kids also, like, kind of squeamish and conservative? Are any of their kids in the GSA secretly?
Ooh, interesting.
Or in the theater club?
Really interesting.
So, Helen, is that the name that I had? Yes, Helen.
Yeah.
Helen's son is, like, kind of just, like, a regular guy. Like, you know, like, somebody that you go to school with where you're just like, oh, yeah, that's, like, whatever. Like, kind of immature, like, maybe kind of class clownish. But not particularly squeamish or anything. It just seems like a normal guy. The younger daughter, I think, Helen's younger daughter is in the GSA. And is, like, pretty shy.
Okay, cool. Because here's what I want to do, Melissa, Bridget, let me know what you think. I want as many of these kids whose parents started this shit on that boat. As many as we could pile in there.
Definitely.
Because clearly they need this.
Yeah.
And this is the best way for us to take the legs out from under them, is to just sneak in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's all take a handful of them and we'll see if about, like, sending out invites or whatever. I'll help you rearrange your boat, Bridget, so we can cram a couple more people in there.
Yeah.
Also just like, this is foul, and throwing an ottoman overboard.
It's gonna be.
No!
Does Bridget live, like, alone on a boat? Or just...
No. I picture it's so funny. I was literally picturing I picture she lives with her dad on her boat. Okay. So she's, like, thinking up how much time she needs to clean up the boat and find a reason for her dad not to be on the boat that he lives and works out of. So it's like
get your dad a date.
Yeah, his work from home is the boat, so it's like...
Wait. Okay. Crazy idea. could we? Is Ms. Garcia seeing anyone? Is she dating? Can we like spirit them both out of the way for a minute?
Let's clueless this.
I don't care if it works out forever, but like
when your dad around, we take off his glasses.
he shakes his hair.
That's too much fun to deny. So yeah, let's say Ms. Garcia is single.
Okay. I mean, I don't know. Like, I feel like we could kind of do a little bit of a connection. Maybe they meet up thing. And then it's not weird because she's not working at the school anymore. So, but then she's cool. We know she's cool. We know she's like socially competent. So she can keep your dad distracted for a few hours.
Yeah, we can give that a shot. I should warn you, my dad does look like this. So I don't know if he's much of a sell for Miss Garcia.
Melissa is so good at makeup. I'm sure that she can work with this. I mean, she works in the theater. We'll just do a whole makeover montage for your dad.
He like comes out in outfits and we all go,
no.
Oh, can I put this link? I think I can just put this Discord link in chat and people will be able to see. This is what Paige just sent. I think that chat will work. I'm not, or that, oh wait, actually no, I think it won't. Hang on. I think I need to do this. I think I need to click on it to make it big. Oh, and then I can save it. Okay,
going
never
in
mind.
so many directions in this game, and I love it a lot.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and take our break now so that I can get this image into the overlay so everyone can see what Bridget's dad looks like. So we're going to take I already added it. How did I do that? We're gonna take a 15-minute break to regroup, and I can put this thing in the overlay. And then we'll be back with the second half of Basic Witches. So use this time to, grab yourself a snack, a drink, use the restroom, get a stretch, whatever it is that you need to do. And we'll be back in 15 minutes. Do you want to wave goodbye to chat, everyone?
Bye.
Bye. Felicitations, adventures! We are back with the second half of Basic Witches, and you just were watching some more information about my guests tonight. So you hopefully were able to find out some more information about them. But if you weren't reading that, or if you were doing other things during break, we are going to reintroduce ourselves. First of all, my name is Taylor. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm usually the person GMing on this channel. I GM a lot of different one-shots, and also serialized one-shots, which is what this is, where I'll run individual stories in the same system, in the same world, with the same players, but it's not really a campaign. It's more like, drop in, have a complete story, and then, pick up again later. And while we're talking about that, I do have some one-shots coming up, I'm looking at my phone to see the dates. On April 9th, which is a Saturday, I'm going to be running a game of Eustacar, which is going to be in Kickstarter. And if you like things like Phoenix Wright or My Cousin Vinny, or like courtroom kind of shenanigan things, that's what this game is inspired by. So the actual court part of it will be on the 9th. Sometime the week before that will be like the setup, because there's like a lot of setup for the game to establish like what the court case is. So I'm very excited for that. My friend Mila, who's my moderator, who's in chat, is going to be guesting on that one. So that's going to be fun. And then Mila's also going to be in the one shot on April 30th, which is also Saturday, which was, so a couple months ago now, we played a game called OK Cryptid that my friend wrote, where you are a paranormal investigator trying to eventually seduce a cryptid, and we said that if we got a certain number of tips during that stream, that we would do a follow-up one-shot with different characters, with the cryptid being Piss Boy, Because some of us really wanted the cryptid to be Piss Boy, and Tag, who wrote the game, said absolutely not. I'm not being a part of that, because they were in that session. So we're gonna be coming back with Piss Boy. It's gonna be me, Mila, and Melanie, who were in the first stream, and then our friend Sierra, who was supposed to be in the first OK Cryptid stream and had a conflict. So it'll be us with Piss Boy. So that's some of the stuff that I have coming up. Lexi, what else do you have going on, and where else can people find you?
Yeah, people can find me on Twitter and Instagram. I'm Alexandra, I think _Salamanda on Instagram, and Lexi Martin 10 on Twitter. Nothing to plug on my end that I'm involved with, but highly recommend the book Anatomy by Dana Schwartz. It's a really wonderful romance meets period drama meets just a smidge of horror. Really wonderful novel about a young woman in the early 19th century trying to become a surgeon. Amazing read. Dana Schwartz also does the Noble Blood podcast. It's a fantastic book. And then for those who haven't seen it, there is some really upsetting legislation here in Texas against trans kids and their families. So I highly recommend donating to Fiesta Youth. It is an LGBT plus organization here in San Antonio, Texas.
Awesome. Lexi, if you get me a link, I can post it in the chat, because I have links turned off, like if you're not a moderator or whatever, so that people can check out that organization.
Yeah.
Kitty, what else have you got going on? Where can people find you?
Yeah, so I'm Kitty Stryker. I use she, her pronouns. You can find me on Twitter and Facebook as Kitty Stryker. I'm pretty much Kitty Stryker everywhere. I like to keep it simple. And I'm actually currently working on a consent culture workbook, which should be out next year. But it's going to be 28 prompts on ways to think about how to create and encourage consent culture in like your day-to-day life. Not necessarily around sexuality or relationships, but like in community activism and, you know, stuff like that. And also like exploring your own relationship to consent. So I'm still working on that, but it's due on May 1st, so it should come out next year. And then I would also, I really encourage people to check out my friend Jian Shim. She does amazing tabletop RPG stuff, just incredible artist, and just all around amazing person. So I'll send you.
Yeah. If you send me a link, then I can put it in the Zoom, or not the Zoom chat, the Twitch chat. Cool. And then Paige, what about you? What else have you got going on?
Hi, yeah. I'm Paige. I also use she, her pronouns. I am found over at the Twitch channel known as Dungeon Mom, where I get to DM my friends on our weekly D&D campaign. Very similar to Taylor and her channel over here. We do very like episodic, sometimes very comedy-based sessions, so it's a lot of fun. And yeah, I would just remind everyone, check out these links, because Fiesta Youth is amazing. So I was happy you mentioned that, Lexi, because that's an awesome one.
If people in chat are noticing me tutting and shaking my head, it's because I keep accidentally pasting I keep pasting an image into the overlay instead of pasting something into chat. So I'm not reacting with disdain to what the players are saying. I'm reacting with like
an organization that helps people. Ooh.
Yeah,
Gross.
I'm reacting like keep doing
Who would
the
want
same
that?
stupid thing, which is putting an image on the screen because I'm copying pasting. Which I think I did 3 times in a row. Cool. I think
the art for her stuff is so cool, Kitty. Sorry.
It's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I the first link is more illustration stuff. The second one is more the game stuff, but the game stuff is incredible, really thought-provoking. Gian did one that was based off of The Last Unicorn.
Oh,
And
that's so cool.
I had one, it was like sort of a diary game. It's sort of like a For the Queen style type of
I've heard
game.
good things about that.
And I played through it once and it was deeply sad and very emotional. And I played through it again and it was an absolute farce. And I love that a game can go both ways so easily.
Yeah.
My sister lost the copy of The Last Unicorn that we rented back in the 90s that my parents would be forced to buy it. And then conveniently found it after they had, paid for this VHS.
That's awesome. Cool. Well, we are going to get back into our story tonight. For anyone who's just joining us during the second half, we are playing a game called Basic Witches, which is a game where teenage witches hex the patriarchy. I feel like that's the quickest way to explain it. It's a like 2-page RPG. It's very cool. So far, what has happened is at Buckland High School, the very well-liked sex ed teacher has, it turns out, been asked to step down because of some vocal complaints in a parent Facebook group. And the witches decided to take matters into their own hands when the new replacement teacher works for a company called Chastity Charter Management LLC, which trains teachers to go to different schools and teach abstinence-only sex education. The witches were, of course, upset by that, and so decided to, after doing some research and getting some help from, notably, the GSA, that Cassandra is going to be teaching an underground sex ed class on Bridget's houseboat that she lives on. And the complication is that Bridget's dad also lives there, and how to get him off of the boat so that they can have the class, because he lives and works on the boat. And the idea that the players came up with before we went to break was that they were maybe going to try to give him a makeover and set him up with Ms. Garcia, the previous teacher. Bridget's dad is on screen right now during the break. I got the picture that Paige was furiously making while we were playing the game. And his name is Wales McCoy. So, we are back with the second half of the story, and trying to figure out how to make a love connection between Ms. Garcia and Wales McCoy.
Oh gosh.
Okay, this is gonna be messed up, but we could do a full catfishing scam here as well.
Catfishing?
Hey, it's boat related. That seems sadly easier than doing it in any sort of legitimate way.
So who are we catfishing? My dad?
I probably, yeah, because I feel like I could get Ms. Garcia to like come and like do some GSA like follow up or something to help like close out her role, and then we could just sort of shove them together and run away.
Okay.
What if we got them on a different boat and then we just like cut a rope and they just like floated away?
Yeah, that sounds great.
And then get back to us.
That's like one of those things that sounds really good in movies that would be absolutely terrifying in real life.
Yes.
I think I 100% think Wales McCoy does not have a boating license. Like he actually can't operate a boat despite living on a houseboat. So I think that would work actually. Yeah.
Bridget, you're not attached to your dad or anything. He just disappears forever.
Yeah.
We have to call the Coast Guard. That sounds logical.
Yeah, so we're gonna parent
no
trap
possible way
this.
this plan could go wrong.
Yeah, and it takes two, summer camp, boat pushed out to the ocean, sort of thing. Got it. Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna just do a quick. I'm gonna do a little reading of my latte art here to see if this is a good idea.
Cool.
The fact that we have to look at latte art to see if it's a good idea to have it to grown adults and then send them out into the ocean.
Bridget is simultaneously like prepping her tarot cards, like just knowing Cassandra's interpretation of.
Melissa's not prepping anything because she's like, this is a good idea.
I got a 5. So.
Hey. Nice. Do you mind telling everyone what you add to your craft?
Oh, so I add nothing to my craft. But I guess I would add 1 because I'm using my
So is that a 6?
My latte. So it would be a 6. Yeah.
Nice.
Shockingly good. I'm usually very bad at divination.
Yes. So you gaze into this matcha latte, and in the greeny depths of it, you are psychically kind of like transported to the greeny depths of the sea, where you see something pretty grisly, which is a sunken boat and some skeletons that look maybe a little bit like
the eye patch still intact.
It's like that scene in Jaws when the head like comes out of the water.
That's what you see when you consider, should we just push some people out to sea on a boat?
So Matcha says no. Matcha says that's a bad idea. So maybe we just have them meet up at, I don't know, the pizza place in town.
Aww.
I mean, my dad isn't one to be like tricked into a date. He'd more likely show up if he thought. Well, I've gotten in trouble a lot. I don't know if he's gone to every single counselor meeting when I've gotten in trouble.
I wonder. Well, what if we tell him we want a free pizza?
That would work.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll just tell him. We'll just lie. I'll get a burner phone and we'll just call him and tell him we want a free pizza to show up.
I was gonna say, can I, once again, Taylor, this is really a stretch. Can I make a free pizza coupon and decorate it with eyeshadow glitter?
So good.
Let me look at the thing.
Like free pizza with eyeliner.
I think you can. But I think it's not going to be a popularity roll. I think it is going to be a knowledge roll. So you can add 1 to it. Because you're kind of trying to use your magic, but you're also trying to, like, make a good, like, graphic.
A marketing coupon.
Yeah.
I do have a better idea, which is, like, a TikTok where I'm, like, talking about this amazing deal at this pizza place. I'm trying to make it seem like it's, like, a sponsored post. Which is probably a better idea than just writing with crayon free pizza.
I mean, actually, we could get a lot of the parents to go by doing that.
Poor pizza place. We're gonna destroy their customer service.
I think that, I mean, I like both ideas, to be honest, but I think the TikTok, if you're trying to get parents,
True.
I think
it has to be a minion meme.
Yeah.
Facebook ad.
Like, you would have to, I'm trying to think of how to do this mechanically, because the problem is if I have you roll popularity, even if it's with disadvantage, you're still gonna succeed no matter what, because you add so much to it.
Most of my popularity rolls tonight have been a 1 on the die.
Yeah.
It's
so I think, here's what I'll say. If you want to do the coupon, It would be a knowledge roll, and you could add your makeup, even though it's kind of silly. If you wanted to do the TikTok, I think that would be a craft roll.
Is it possible to do both?
Yeah, you could do both.
I guess, well, because, okay. Here's my thought. We want to get the dad somewhere for the date, but if we want to get all the parents out of the house, then do we maybe do some sort of TikTok that gets reposted to Facebook in the Facebook group for the parents, sending them to one place, and then a coupon for pizza sending dad to the other place?
Yeah, we tell them that there's like a gay straight alliance meeting or something. No, a drag queen story hour. Drag queen story hour. They'll all go and protest it.
I do like that idea, but I've also got another idea. What if we tell the moms it's free drink night at the Cheesecake Factory?
Oh,
like bottomless margaritas at the Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah, because they'll go and then they'll stay for a long time to complain that it's
white
not
moms
real.
that complain on Facebook.
Yeah,
the Cheesecake Factory.
Okay.
Sort of the Yankee Candle.
And the Cheesecake Factory is like kind of a hike, so it would take them a while to get there.
Yeah, they have to go all the way to the fancy mall 15 minutes away.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think for the Cheesecake Factory idea, I think it'll be craft.
Okay.
And since you're already in the Facebook group, I won't have it be with disadvantage because you can post it as whatever name you came up with, Rebecca.
And when I post, I'm like, look at this young lady. Isn't she brilliant and smart and beautiful?
So I think this will just be craft, and your special power. So you'll still get to add 3 to it.
Okay, cool. That's a 7.
Yeah, so you quickly do this TikTok and then still on your phone post it to this Facebook group as this
Take it down if you love the Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah, you're doing the thing where it's like a dance and you're like pointing and like the text is coming up. That's like, and like the first comment is like from someone else at your school being like, what is this? Like, what is this TikTok? But you post it to this Facebook group and immediately all the moms are like commenting and like excited about it. So you accomplished getting the parents in the Facebook group to go to Cheesecake Factory the evening of the sex ed class. Do you want to do something separate to try to get Bridget's dad?
Yeah, I'm still down to do the coupon written in eyeliner.
I'll also ask Bridget, do you have, because it is your dad, so you might have some a way.
Does he want anchovies on the pizza?
Yeah, well, he loves anchovies, and pineapple is his favorite combo.
Oh my god.
He has terrible taste, like me.
Yeah, free pineapple and anchovy pizza.
So maybe they're like, first person to finish an anchovy and pineapple pizza will have it named after them. Come on down, like something like that.
The Wales McCoy special.
And you can call it the Wales McCoy special. Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
I like that. Okay, so
I mean,
so
one woman wouldn't fall in love with that visual.
I mean, then I guess we don't. I mean, that's enough. We don't really need to hook him up with Miss Garcia at all. Like,
just get rid of that part.
I mean,
which
we'll
is
let Taylor
ethical.
figure that out, how that works. We don't get any interference on that.
Let's see how well I roll on this. This might be atrocious.
Yeah, Melissa is making this, so go ahead. This is going to be knowledge, I think. But you can add +1 because you're using your makeup to make this.
That's a 4.
Okay.
Could be worse.
So you can either fail or you can ask to succeed at a cost.
I think I'll succeed at a cost.
Okay, let me think of what this cost is.
Just because I think that's more interesting than failing.
Yeah. Here's, I think, this is not directly related, but you just did 2 things kind of at the same time, and one of the things I kind of mentioned already. The cost is because, here's how to connect them. You shoot off this TikTok, post the thing and then immediately start getting really like intensely invested in this coupon that you're making. And you manage to make it look like it obviously doesn't look like professional graphic design, but also most local pizza restaurants, their actual stuff does
graphic
not.
Design is my passion.
Yeah, it does not look like, so it looks convincing enough. But because you're so invested in doing this, you're not really paying attention to your TikTok, which is hemorrhaging followers because you posted this weird thing. And it's one of those things where it's like coming up on people's For You pages and they are like, who is this person? Like, why am I following them? Because it's so different from what you normally do.
You are 16. Why are you talking about bottomless margaritas?
Yeah. So
really
you're
love
unable
that.
to immediately do damage control and notice that you've lost a bunch of followers from posting this weird TikTok. But Bridget, you look at this coupon and you're like, yeah, this looks like my dad would, or not coupon, sorry, this promo for having a pizza named after you. And you're like, yeah, this looks like something that my dad would be interested in.
Hold on, I have to put setting spray on it so that the eyeliner doesn't smear.
Okay.
Yeah, he'll definitely go for this. He'll eat this up, literally.
I mean,
not the coupon.
Initially I was like, okay, well, the problem will be he has to stay away. But I guess if we're like undocking the boat, then it won't matter. He just has to be off the boat. He'll come back and there won't be a houseboat there.
His home will be
In your
gone.
sex ed class, you can talk about docking.
It's so sad.
Oh,
Oh, that's true. I'll add that to the list.
Cool. What, if we want to, we can kind of fast forward to the day of, unless you had other stuff that you wanted to do.
I mean, part of me is like, can we persuade the pizza parlor to actually do this?
Yeah.
I
That'd be
have
nicer.
something in mind for the pizza parlor, so
Okay.
I think your mind can rest easy.
Oh, the other thing, I do want to, I email Ms. Garcia.
Oh, yeah.
And I think I'm going to email her as my mom.
Okay, cool.
My parents absolutely do not log out of their computers at all. So it's really easy for me to send an email on their behalf.
Cool.
And I'm just going to say hi, my daughter Cassandra said that you weren't teaching at Buckland anymore. What happened? I'm so sorry to hear that. The students seem to love you so much.
I think this is probably... I want you to do a roll for this. I think it's probably popularity for her to respond, not only just respond, but also because you really want her to open up to you.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can do that.
That is a 3.
Oh no. So you can either just fail or you can succeed at a cost.
You say that something is lit in the email.
Yeah, I want to succeed at a cost.
Okay.
You're like, no cap.
Okay, what should this cost be? Do you have an idea for something or does anyone have a pitch for what the cost could be?
I mean, I feel like maybe because when Ms. Garcia sends the email back, my mom will figure out that I'm sending emails from her email account.
Yeah, that's
I feel
fair.
like we're gonna have a conversation about that.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. So
I read the email, but I don't delete it. So
Yeah.
it's still there.
Cool. So you get an email back pretty quickly, and it's obviously Ms. Garcia, who I just put an image for chat. The pic crew that's on screen right now is what Ms. Garcia looks like. And she texts back just a torrent of that she's so disappointed in the school and that the pressure from this group was so kind of unprecedented. Basically, the way what she lays out for you in this email is that there was no opposition to this group that was like, we want to get this teacher fired. Like, the students didn't really know about it. Other parents either weren't motivated to do anything about it or didn't take it seriously. And essentially the principal was kind of pressured into it, and the school board was like kind of pressured into this thing where it was like this very vocal, honestly, minority of people. But they felt like there wasn't anything that they could do about, you know, the situation. And so she's kind of like, you know, I have good, you know, recommendations from other people. So she's like, hopefully I can get a job at another school without too much trouble. And she's, you know, thanks you for like reaching out to her. And I think says something like, I was really looking forward to having Cassandra in class. Like, you know, I thought that we would have some good discussions because she is so knowledgeable and opinionated. And
you know, I feel like my mom will be mad that I'm like sending emails on her account, but is also super proud of me. And so it's like, and that's why she doesn't ground me, because there's a part of her that's just like, but you're doing really good in school. And like, that's, I mean, privacy is important, you know, mommy needs her private time too. Like,
oh, you know what? I think I'm going to slightly tweak the cost. So it's not necessarily that you get in huge trouble from your parents, but because your mom sees this, she changes all their passwords and like logs out of everything. So it's like, okay, you did this for a good reason, but like this isn't something that can continue to happen.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's like, I would be the responsible one.
Yeah.
In the conversation that happens because of this, I'm definitely going to try to get my parents on board for like reinstating Ms. Garcia and be like, well, if it was a lack of opposition, I feel like you're friends with a lot of the other parents, and you could maybe stir some stuff up. And I think my parents are definitely like, they were activists in the 70s and then they settled down, but that's still in them. Mm-hmm. And so they're like, their eyes gleam and they're like, oh yes, like I can change a small town. Like they're very excited about it. So.
Yeah, I think definitely, the next, like, since we're kind of fast forwarding a little bit to like the day of the
the reckoning
of the class.
You could also let your parents know about the class. I know that Melissa was like, I don't want, like, your parents should not be teaching it. But like, even if we just want to have parental support, like on the back burner, it might not be the worst idea.
Oh yeah, oh absolutely. Cassandra would tell them, and they would be like, "Oh great, here's a bunch of materials."
Yeah, they're gonna
and
be loaded up with material.
Here's like the stuffed animal vulva puppet, like, you know, all of that stuff.
You have to bring The Care and Keeping of You by American Girl doll with the really like very all too clear illustrations of how to put a tampon in. Like
and like I think that's gonna be one of the games that we play, is like compare and contrast different types of education. But I give my parents the copy of the workbook.
Oh yeah.
And they are absolutely furious. And not only, I feel like my parents are going to be the kind of people who will like start scanning this and like making a huge fuss online, like they contact the press, like
there's definitely, you telling your parents is starting like something like almost beyond the scope of the one shot of like
they have wanted to have something like this for a while, and this was just the perfect moment. Especially my mom. My mom's like, I can finally not just be a housewife. Like,
a cause.
Oh my god.
I'm like, she's basically the polar opposite of Helen.
Does Cassie like rehearse the class in front of her parents? Like, thank you all for being here.
Totally.
I love that. Yeah, I think it's definitely a thing where like, as you're talking to your parents, like they're kind of like tutting you're like showing them all this different stuff, and like honestly, your mom and dad start making plans, because what's clear is that this was a little bit of a slow burn. Like, Ms. Garcia getting fired was abrupt to you all, but it was something that was rumbling for a little while. Yeah. So your mom is like, okay, this is going to be a long haul. Like, we might not be able to get Ms. Garcia back because she's probably going to take another job, but like, we can definitely get rid of like this teacher and this like this workbook and all this different stuff. So definitely like lit a fire under your parents to be like, okay, we need to take care of this because it's not acceptable education. Bridget, how are you getting this coupon to your dad, or not coupon, this promo or whatever it is to Wales McCoy?
Yeah, I think my dad does not leave the boat. I need to stress that ever. But I probably bring him the mail from like the main office pure mailbox, and I've slipped it into his mail.
Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking.
You slip this into his mail. He's in his like his bedroom / office. And then a little bit like, he's in there for like 5 minutes or something, and then burst back out of his room holding this thing that you made, not you made it for him, but you and your friends made for him.
Like Charlie Bucket with the golden ticket.
Exactly. He burst out and is like, Bridget, did you see what I got here?
No. What is it? It's not a bill, is it?
It's the opposite. This could make our whole future. This is gonna put me on the map. There's a pizza place that has exactly the kind of pizza that I like.
Yeah, Zuko's. I mean, what pizza place?
Whatever you just said.
Zuko's. Like Danny Zuko from Greece.
Yes. I was thinking Zuko Avatar.
Or also Avatar.
Me too, yeah.
That's
and I was
also
like, is
epic.
that what she said? I don't know. Yeah,
Like,
Zuko's pizza.
The wood-fired pizza.
Yeah. Oh my god, it's an Avatar themed pizza place!
But it's like completely unlicensed, and so like Zuko is spelled like with 2 C's instead.
Yeah.
Perfect.
He says, I don't really understand all this other stuff with the illustrations on here.
Sure.
It's a reference to something I've never seen. But they have an anchovy pineapple pizza, and whoever can eat the whole thing in one sitting, the pizza gets named after them.
Wait, but that's your favorite pizza.
I know, and that's why this was made for me. I have to go in. It says Saturday night, 7:00. I have to go in. I have to eat the whole pizza in one sitting.
You have to go. You have to go in. You have to go and you have to eat the pizza. There's no,
do you think you'll be okay here on the boat by yourself for the night? I know you get, a little scared sometimes with the water. And...
no, I'm fine. I'm fine. Do you have a key to like lock your bedroom? Do you lock your bedroom when you leave the house?
He's like, I don't really have a key. It's just like a normal push lock.
Sure. Yeah. All right. Okay.
I don't normally lock it when I leave the house. I normally lock, the overall boat.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool. That's fine. Cool. Pizza. Yeah.
Cool. That's taken care of. Is there anything else that you all are wanting to do before the actual class?
I'm just spreading the word, and I'm also like, once the dad leaves, I'm decorating the houseboat as if I was decorating for like a house party. Like,
yeah.
I'm always like, no, your valuables. Like,
yeah. Go ahead and roll popularity to get people here. And it's up to you if you're using your special power or your casting tool to get students here.
Yeah, I was thinking, yeah, it's probably another like makeup TikTok advertising, talking about the party and being like, so story time, here's this like weird time that the Cheesecake Factory approached me and it was really, if I can get out of the contract. Yeah.
Cool.
Anyway, this party.
Go ahead and roll popularity and you can add your makeup. So you'll add +4 to this.
That is also a 7.
Cool. So definitely a success. Like a lot of the people, like you're definitely getting like messages. I think all 3 of you are getting messages as information is spreading. I think the GSA basically sets up like a sign up because there's only so many people that can be on the boat. So has like a sign up, has like a waiting list. Is definitely like making sure that Cassandra, if there's like stuff that you need, like if there's like different kinds of contraception or like whatever those things
Honestly,
are.
I think my parents are perfectly happy to just like make sure I have all of those things because like
your arms are like bursting with the like plastic model of the human pelvis.
Yeah, I mean like I already have a lot of these things anyway. My parents have been very like open about that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like yeah, like maybe the GSA money can go towards like better textbooks.
Oh,
or
yeah.
like, something that people could take home.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, so I think maybe they are able to like place an order at some like bookstore or something like that to like get a bunch of like actually good workbooks to replace the one that is not good. So that's a good idea. That's what they put the money toward. And I think there's maybe just because of the previous TikTok not having as many followers, I think Melissa, you definitely notice that there's less reach. Like there's some students that like maybe in person you see that you're like, hey, are you going to this thing? I post about it. And they're kind of like sheepishly like, oh, I didn't see that TikTok. But still you're able to get, get people to
I just want to also say that when I'm decorating, I do a couple of condom balloons.
Oh, no.
Oh, we can stream it.
Oh.
So people on the wait list
Twitch
can't go, we can still stream it.
Yeah.
So that way, I think that gives us an option because I think Cassandra is sort of seeing this as spell work of like getting as many people involved as possible.
Yeah. Cassandra, give me I feel like this is knowledge roll, just as someone who streams on Twitch, just for the mechanical aspect of like making sure you have strong enough internet, making sure that you have the equipment that you need, that sort of thing. To get this set up so that it's, effective.
That is a 3 on the dice and a 3 knowledge.
Nice. So yeah, you're like, oh yeah, I know exactly what I need to do. Here you get maybe some of the GSA budget is like getting a microphone and someone probably, I mean, honestly, you could do it through your phone. So like using the phone camera is fine. Somebody else has like a mobile hotspot.
Oh, I would have Melissa. I mean, Melissa clearly knows how to do TikTok stuff, so I'm sure she has.
I
has some basic lighting and a stand and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you get like a good setup to be able to stream this. And I think we're getting to the point where it's like the day of. You're all prepped. And people start to come in. Bridget, how many people do you think you told the GSA that the boat could handle?
I remember saying 15.
Okay.
So it'd probably be about 15. I imagine it's pretty small. So if anything, there's like an isolated like bedroom for my father, for me, a bathroom, and then the rest is like a common kind of utility area where it's like a mini,
like a studio apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's shabby.
And I think it's definitely a thing where it's like priority was placed on like the people who are missing out on having the actual class. So like lots of people are signed up and lots of people are like getting, you know, the notification on Twitch that this thing is going live. But the people who are actually here are essentially your classmates. They're juniors who...
Sorry, you're not on the list.
This is turning people away. Yeah, there's like a
The bouncer,
sophomore
so
that like
good.
comes and is like, like I signed up and so you know I was
How far in advance?
this morning I sent an email this morning.
We really suggested that everybody sign up a minimum of 24 hours in advance. We can send you the streaming link, but unfortunately we won't be able to accommodate you.
Just dejectedly leave. I think is like basically there's some people who couldn't get in who are just like on the dock, like kind of like trying to like look in, not realizing that you're going to sail into international waters. Now, Bridget, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
You specifically said that your dad does not know how to sail this boat.
Yeah.
Does Bridget know how to sail this boat?
Legally, no. But like, I can. I'm underage. I can't have a license to drive a boat. But I think what I'd like to picture is her father has an expired license, but as long as he keeps the boat always docked, he's not like infringing on any like laws. But he taught me everything, and I probably am the better, you know, sailor now than him. So I feel like she would do it. It would be completely illegal.
Yeah.
Illegal. So if we were caught, I'd be in trouble.
I think, Bridget, roll me, this has to be knowledge, I feel like.
Okay.
If you want to incorporate, because you haven't used any of your potions or anything this session so far.
No.
So if you want to incorporate that you have a potion that could help you in some way, let me know what the potion is, and you can add a +1. Well, it would be +2 total to this.
What do we think? What's a fun potion to use to be a better sailor?
I was like thinking of like maybe almost like the equivalent of like a bend water potion.
Ooh, we're really getting to the Avatar stuff. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. I like that. Yeah, I'm gonna make a commune with water potion.
Cool. So yeah, I won't have you roll to make the potion. I'll just say that you can add, so your knowledge is +1, so you'll add +2 to the check. And if
Whatever
you
I
fail, then
roll.
it may be indicative that the potion was it's not that
Not the
good.
best.
Yeah. So let me know what you get.
All right. I rolled a 4 plus 2, so 6.
Yay!
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So Melissa is kind of like, you know, lets you know when everyone who's supposed to be on the boat is here. Did you all try to get Ms. Garcia to make an appearance, or is it just
Yeah.
I want her at the pizza place.
Oh, right.
Okay. So she's at the pizza place.
Yeah, okay.
So is it then probably Mr. What did I say his name is?
It would look, guys, think about how bad it would look if Miss Garcia did show up onto this.
That's
true.
It's a bunch of underage children
Yeah,
and then a fired teacher
Yeah.
holding contraception. Like,
Yes. So the teacher who is here is what did I say his name is?
Mr. Nelson?
Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Nelson, who's like one of the history teachers. He's like an older guy. He's here and gets very nervous when Bridget
does it get to
starts,
working on my condom?
Bridget starts
Yeah, I
piloting
like how
the
free
boat
samples
away.
it sees.
We are going to make sure that he doesn't appear on the stream.
Okay, that's probably a good idea.
Like he should be there so that there is an adult
Yeah.
for reasons, I guess.
Mhm.
But like, also, I think that yeah, we'll try to make sure he's not on the screen ever.
Yeah, go ahead, Paige.
I'm sorry. I just had a separate question, so I can wait.
No, go for it.
I want to know if we saw Helen Cameron on the dock I'm just worried if anyone from that phase group caught word, you know, and someone might be here. sniffing about before we launch?
You don't see Helen.
Okay.
But the sophomore that Melissa told not to get on the boat, you do know is her daughter. And you see her on the dock as you're driving away.
Well, she should talk to her mother then.
And she should have signed up 24 hours in advance.
There are rules.
Bridget, you're piloting away. Mr. Nelson comes up to you and is like, I'm sorry, what is happening right now?
Have you ever been on a boat before, Mr. Nelson? I know what I'm capable of doing. You have no reason to worry. Life jackets are back in the third shelf down. If you're I'm legally obligated to tell you this, by the way. This isn't because it just goes on like this big boating spiel that she's seen like not her father, maybe like a few like other people do in the past.
Make me a popularity roll to try to.
Oh, nice. My 0 roll, nice.
Hey, if you have a potion or if you want to use
it, that's one. Yeah.
Mr. Nelson says, I'm sorry, we have to go back to the dock. I cannot be here with...
All right.
No.
Man the boat for me, Mr. Nelson.
Bridget, this isn't on school grounds, and I know that you think that as soon as school's over that you don't have to listen to teachers, but you will be expelled if you pilot the boat of students and a teacher away from the dock. Please bring us back.
God, I can deal with another suspension, but an expulsion?
Bridget, it would legally be kidnapping
Yeah.
if you don't bring us back to the dock.
She turns the house.
So you're not in international waters, but the class continues regardless. What is Cassandra doing as like teaching the class? Because I think it's time for the class to start.
Yeah, I think Cassandra is basically like, she starts off with a angry spiel about why abstinence-only sex education fails, and like has a PowerPoint presentation of statistics and things, and then she has a separate like PowerPoint presentation with like a lo-fi musical backdrop about like how, you know, people have sex for lots of different reasons, and some of them are reproductive, and some of them are pleasure, and some of them are pain reduction, and all these other things. And it's like a mixture of, here's all of the variety, and this is why communication's really important. Like, she focuses a lot on communication stuff. And then she's like, sure, yeah, like there's a bunch of contraception to help you not get pregnant when you don't want to, and to help with STIs. But also a lot of STIs are curable, and here's all the various ways that they can be cured. And like, you know, this huge percentage of the population has herpes or an HPV, and like they live their lives perfectly fine. So like, let's stop being so scared of all these things. Yeah, so I think it's a little disjointed because she's trying to cover like a year's worth of ground in like a short period of time. But, you know, I think she uses like, she probably spliced together like a short softcore presentation from like her parents' videos of like from Good Vibrations or something. And like, she has all of that. It's like a little bit theatrical, a little bit educational.
Yeah,
it's a lot. I mean, it's an overwhelming amount of information. Definitely. And yeah. Cassandra, for her, this is normal and she's like used to this, but like for someone who has never heard any of this before, it's like, whoa, okay, that's opened my mind in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cassandra, go ahead and roll me a popularity roll.
Okay.
And I'll say you can do it with advantage because you all put so much work into this and like trying to make this go off well. So you can roll 2 and take the higher.
Okay, that is a 5 plus 1, so 6.
Yeah. So you finish this presentation and it's genuinely impressive. You're very knowledgeable, but also like very personable as you're like giving this information. You know a lot of the students in the room and you know like things like experiences that would connect to them. You have like an actual like professional workbook that you're going from that's keeping you like kind of on track, even though it is a lot of information. And I think I'm tripping over my words. I imagine it's Melissa who's watching, like, keeping an eye on the Twitch stuff for the streaming. Melissa, you're seeing, like, a lot of, like, positive, you know, feedback. And you have, like, you know, a decent number of viewers. Like, for Twitch, I think it's, like, you know, if you've got, like, 15 people in there that aren't you, it's, like, really good. So yeah, there's, like, some people watching. And like, you know, the chat is like, you know, chiming in with like questions. I think there's time for like a Q&A part at the end that like people are asking questions. Also, since you didn't take off into international waters, the people on the dock are kind of able to like be in on this a little bit. Like they're obviously not like in the class setting, but like they can kind of hear what's going on, kind of see what's going on. So you have a little bit more of an audience. And I think afterwards, all of you have different people that come up to you that, like, thank you for putting this together. Definitely Soren thanks you for putting this together, like, is really excited, and is passing out the workbooks that, like, you know, that were purchased. And there's a little stamp that's, like, courtesy of, like, Buckland High, GSA. Also, a decent number of people are, like, are you going to do this again? Like, are you going to...
Oh, yeah, I absolutely collect a mailing list.
yeah, you collect a mailing list, and there's, like, a lot of people who are, like, you know, I was really bummed that I wasn't going to have Ms. Garcia for a teacher. I was really looking forward to the class. And, like, also I think a lot of people who are kind of, like, I had, like, questions for her and, like, you know, all this different stuff. So definitely interested in, like, doing this more. And I think that's like kind of, that seems like a good place to kind of start to wrap up. If you would have rolled a mixed success or a failure, I probably would have had, Helen show up, but you didn't. So no
she was distracted by the Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah.
The allure.
Yeah.
I love those cheeseburger wontons.
Yeah. There's angry Melissa, you're getting notifications from your burner Facebook that is angry comments of I'm at cheeseburger or not cheese what is that cheesecake? It's a cheeseburger factory. I'm at Cheesecake Factory and there's no free drinks, like very angrily. Bridget, you get a text from your dad. That's a selfie of him with an empty pizza. and
Miss Garcia is just like, wow, what a dream boat.
There's anchovies drooling all over his face. Disgusting.
He sends you a selfie.
Oh, and somebody in the background dresses like an off-brand, like Halloween store Zuko.
Yeah. Giving a thumbs up. He texts you and says, hey, honey, when I got here, they didn't know what I was talking about, but they were so impressed. And they didn't have this pizza on the menu that they agreed to call it the Wales McCoy for anyone who ever wanted to order it.
Wales
And also, yeah, Ms. Garcia is for some reason there, but he's kind of just in the background, like clearly not with your dad. Like it's not like they're together now. It's just like you're like, oh, that's weird. She's like in the background of this selfie, like kind of behind the Lord Zuko. Yeah.
Bridget hopelessly browses lost connections for like 3 days afterwards. Like, you ate a full pizza. And I knew I had to speak with you. Yeah.
What are the things that you think? I'll give you each a chance to like say some other things that you think happened after the events of the one shot. That can be immediately after, or if you want to narrate something that happens down the line, and it can pretty much be whatever you want. I mean, I guess within reason, but.
Okay, is it okay if I go first, girls?
Yeah.
My father comes back after texting me, and there is still a line of people at the pier. And I quickly, because I imagine I am like an offshoot of my dad. We were both the troublemakers, just based off our outlooks. So he's like, you took the car, or you, like, essentially, like, he tells me, and I'm like, yeah. And he's okay with it. But Bridget, at least that conversation for Bridget would wrap up with explaining why she set it up for her friends, for Cassandra, and for like her class. And for the first time, way too late in their lives, she has the talk with her dad. I picture as what would happen for Bridget.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His mouth smelling of anchovies and pineapple.
That's exactly how I pictured it.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Really sweet.
Yeah.
What about Melissa and Cassandra?
So you can let me know if you were thinking of something different, Kitty, but I would start thinking that like maybe my dad is like a lawyer or my mom is like a lawyer, and like our parents work together basically to like A, get rid of Mr. Harris, and B, help Ms. Garcia sue.
Yeah.
For, like, wrongful termination.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Yes, absolutely. My parents would be super down for that.
Yeah. I think the way it eventually resolves. Ooh, one of you, just for some extra spice, one of you roll me. Actually, how do I want to do this? There's a piece of extra information that you could find out that doesn't like change anything, but just gives you something juicy about something that happened that you didn't find out during the one shot. Cassandra or Melissa, what method would you want to go that I would have you roll something to figure out this extra piece of information? Like, the reason why I'm asking is because it could just be a knowledge roll, but it also could be like divination for, Cassandra trying to figure out more information, or.
Yeah, I mean, I'm good at neither of those things.
Yeah, I feel that Cassandra uses her intense aptitude for research.
Yeah.
To uncover more information, because I think that she's also trying to get the press involved, and she's kind of hoping that she can get either support from a local business or support through the press, so that they could have the sex education like peer support group basically hosted somewhere that's not Bridget's boat.
Yeah,
because that's going to be hard to do. Constantly.
So yeah, go ahead and roll knowledge, and if you want to use your special power or your coffee, your latte, you can use that.
Actually, I'm gonna be like drinking espresso as I research for like late night researching.
Cool. So
I'm
you
like wired.
Get a +4 to this, so you can't really fail.
Yeah. And I got a 5, so
cool. You're like wired, like so focused, singularly focused.
It's like concerning.
Yeah. I don't sleep for like half a week.
Yeah. Some information you find out is that Principal Gordon, basically because this is like a lawsuit, there's like people are getting like there's files being requested of like all this different stuff. And during this, you are able to notice, and it's maybe something that like the lawyer would notice too, but like Cassandra, you get this, that Principal Gordon, part of the reason why this happened in large portion was because of parental pressure, but one of the reasons why they ended up going with this company specifically is because the school ended up getting like qualifying for like a grant from like another company where it's like, oh, it's like if you use this then you get this money or whatever. So it ended up being a thing where part of the reason why she acquiesced to the parental pressure was for like monetary reasons, like the school, not her specifically, but like the school got funding in some sort of way for like going with this business. And during the lawsuit, partially because of that, I'll say the school ends up settling out of court with Ms. Garcia because they don't want to have like all of this press, like bad press for the school. Ms. Garcia is like not really that interested in coming back to teach at the school after like the experience, but is, you know, still in contact with the GSA, et cetera, but gets a job at another school where she is also well liked. And yeah, so that was Melissa and Bridget both had little things. Cassandra, did you have something that you wanted to have happen?
Yes, I get the mailing. Once I build up that mailing list, I use it to launch a basically like a male harassment campaign of the chastity charter place.
Yeah.
So it's just glitter bombing and condoms and, you know, those little bags of edible dicks and like just like constantly.
Yeah.
And so yeah, there's just that they get on a couple of mailing lists. They get tons of junk mail. They get buried in all this junk mail.
Eventually, I think a few months after this all happens, this LLC is like a national thing, but the local one to you closes just because like super bad press, glitter bombs, all of this different stuff. The one near your school and that was teaching at some other different schools closes. Not available for...
There's definitely a picture like of Cassandra getting like hauled off to like juvie for pieing somebody in the face, and she like very proudly says like, this is like what happened to Anita Bryant, like you know, this is great. So yeah.
Yeah, well, that's everything that I have for tonight. I think that's a good little button. You all did an amazing job. Yeah, I think we can sign off just in case anybody who's missed the other times that we did introduce ourselves. Let's reintroduce and sign off with chat. This time we'll start with Kitty. Where else can people find you? What else do you have going on?
Yeah, so Kitty Stryker, she, her pronouns. You can find me on Twitter and Facebook as Kitty Stryker. I have a sort of professional page on Facebook that's officially Kitty Stryker. You can find me on Patreon as Kitty Stryker, or also Kitty Learns to Cook, which is where I do all of my cooking stuff. I'm working on a consent culture workbook to help people explore consent and their relationship to consent and what it means to have a culture that focuses on consent instead of entitlement. That should come out next year. And yeah, I think that's a good amount of things.
Yeah. Lexi, what about you?
You can find me on once again, my name is Lexi Martin, she, her. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram. like I said, read Anatomy by Dana Schwartz. It's an absolutely wonderful, wonderful novel that recently came out. And more importantly, once again, highly suggest people donate to Fiesta Youth. It's an LGBTQIA organization here in San Antonio. There's been some really upsetting legislation in Texas regarding trans youth. That is pretty much everything that I have. Oh, another great place to donate is Cast Member Pantry. It is a really great organization that helps out people who work in the Disney parks, a lot of whom are queer, especially, important to talk about in light of the Don't Say Gay and Bob Chapek's stance on that. So highly recommend people donate to the Cast Member Pantry. Really, really great organization as well.
Awesome. And Paige, what about you?
Yeah, my name's Paige. You can find me on Twitch here under the title Dungeon Mom, where I get to DM my friends and family in our weekly D&D campaign. And thank you so much for having me. I've loved every second.
Thank you all so much. This is such a fun. This game is really fun, and you all are such fun to have. I was really glad that we
can't wait for prom.
Yeah. Oh, that reminds me. I almost forgot about this. It's kind of funny that this is happening when it is. So after you all, we did kind of our credits of you talking about other places you can find. There's a post-credits sequence. Where I have a little thing to read. Originally I wasn't going to do it after we redid plugs, but it actually works out. Principal Gordon is working late in her office. Mrs. Bassett pops her head in the office and says, "I'm headed out. Would you mind shutting the lights off for me when you leave?" Principal Gordon nods, and as Mrs. Bassett leaves, Principal Gordon says, "Door closed, please." The sound of retreating high heels fades, and the school is silent. The office is lit only by a lamp. Principal Gordon lingers in the silence, then purposefully goes to her cabinet and retrieves a hot plate, a few sachets of herbs, and a small cauldron. She sets them all on her desk, collects a few crystals from around the office, and a book from her desk drawer. She opens the book, begins to stir things into the cauldron, muttering under her breath. Her office fills with eerie green light. But we'll find out what that's all about next time.
Woo!
If we can get everyone back on again, I'd love to do Basic Witches again. This one is super fun.
Yes, please.
Absolutely.
Cool. I'm going to leave the Zoom call. If you all want to hang out for just a minute while I wrap up the stream, that would be great. But if you have to go, I understand that. But before that, do you want to wave goodbye to the chat and to the YouTube VOD? Because this is the end of the YouTube VOD. Goodbye.
Good night.